Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News. This is the Snort Report. You guys know who I am, so let's go ahead and get into the situation. Alright, so this right here is a follow-up to the last broadcast. We're basically on our road to the side-scroller podcast / interview with Darksydephil, so on and so forth. And the general idea is to give you guys some, I wouldn't say insight, but maybe for people who watch this later on down the line, give you guys some thought on what both parties, meaning the side-scrollers as well as DSP, what some of their thoughts, maybe their mindset, hopes, for DSP, possibly dreams, that will come out of this situation, if you will. So this is that's pretty much what the scenario of this is. As you guys have been told in the last broadcast, this is going to come out incredibly late because of my dumbass. So my apologies on that, but you know, it is what it is. Always late, never breaking. Got to live up to the tagline. And so with that being said, welcome to my TED Talk. With that, I yet again don't have incredibly high expectations for this interview, but you never know, people will surprise you. One of the things that kind of reinforces that a little bit is Craig's back and forth about, I'm a trained journalist, I know what I'm doing, I'm not a journalist, I don't like that practice, so on and so forth. And he obviously, there's a very strong detractor, troll, hater, and critic influence there. Clearly this interview serves a purpose as it pertains to relaunching side-scrollers and giving him another lease on life, so to speak. Time will tell on that. But his, I wouldn't say trepidation, but either you're gonna be a journalist about this and you're gonna use all of this training and all of your education and apply it to this interview, or it's another fluff piece. One of the two. I understand that you want to ask the hard questions, and you kind of need to be honest, because DSP's history, he's prone to lying. He's prone to lying to everybody. So you're going to have to hit him with hard questions, and even if Craig wants to go into this thing with kid gloves, eventually he's going to get agitated because DSP is going to lie to him. DSP lies to everybody. So what would make him any different? And that right there in itself could really turn the tides of how this interview goes, depending on how Craig decides to go into it and whatever. But as it pertains to DSP, I think the disappointment is far higher. DSP, for all intents and purposes, is using Craig and side-scrollers and his quote-unquote relationship with Craig from way back in the day to... He's using it as predication. Let's reword that. He's using this quote-unquote relationship as a way of exploiting the side-scrollers and Craig's goodwill, and hopefully open up the gates to a whole new audience of people, meaning side-scrollers. Because DSP can sit there and say, "Oh, I used to be one of you." You know what I mean? I've been a long-time fan, even though he probably can't tell you when the last show or production or whatever the case may be that Craig has put out in the last few years. Probably couldn't even tell you what it is, but he'll tell you, oh, back 10 plus years ago, I was a big fan, I've always been a fan, I've always looked up to Craig, and he's always been an inspiration to me, and yada 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 yada. And so that in itself, he looks at will be his gateway into that community. And he's hoping that the side-scrollers, the fan base, I should say, have not been exposed to the negative aspects of Darksydephil, which ironically enough is basically everything. So he's kind of hoping that the side-scroller community hasn't been exposed to his shit over the last few years, and he can use that as a way to wiggle in. Now let's go ahead and expound upon this a bit, or expand upon this, I should say, briefly, and then let's go ahead and get to this fucking bacon. DSP needs a couple of different things. Does he need more? Does he need new blood? Does he need people to give him money to continue to fuel his addictions? Of course he does. But on top of that, he needs normies. He needs people who are not necessarily ignorant, just ignorant to who he is and what he's done over the years. He needs people who are willing to front line for him. He needs people who are willing to fight the fight, quote unquote, on Twitter for him. Hell, if they're even willing to go as far as making videos for him, that would work out too. But truth be told, let's go ahead and push that to the side. He needs people to just be there for him. He needs people that will look at his content and fuel his ego and build his confidence back up. Because that's what he really needs. It's not just money, right? He needs to have his social equity be replenished. And he needs his confidence back. He needs his confidence to be rebuilt. Because let's look at the DSP audience in general. And we all make our jokes about they're all being dense and they're all fucking slow and all this bullshit, which a lot of it's true. But truth be told, there is nobody there who isn't trolling, to be honest, who can really pick up the baton and run for him, right? There isn't a large enough group of people or even a group of sound mind that can actually defend DSP, that can actually promote DSP, that can make a reasonable argument for DSP. DSP doesn't have these things, and because of that, he doesn't have a womb, if you will, for the lack of a better term, to be reborn in, to try to. He doesn't have enough perspective of the outside world for him to grow as a person because he's scared of that outside world. If that makes sense. Let's remix that. DSP has been in his bubble for so goddamn long that he needs a new group of people. He needs, like I said, new blood, but he needs a new group of people to come in that he can interact with so he can get a better grasp of the world around him because he's too scared to interact with it. He can only really interact with the world around him in IRL through other people. He can't do it himself anymore. He's too scared. He's too broken, if that makes sense. So that's where side scrollers, this is what their purpose is for DSP, because it's all utilitarianism, as you know. If you don't serve a purpose, you're just in the fucking way. They are there to give him another lease on life. I can't say a second lease or even a new lease per se, because Lord knows DSP will actually pay it. But they're there to give him another chance. And he's so codependent on people to do anything and everything that's the only way he's going to be able to broaden his horizons to the world outside. Which is fucking crazy when you think about it, right? You're so scared to leave your own home. You're so scared to actually talk to people. Not online, I mean actually go out and speak to people. I don't know, fucking talk to your neighbors. Something. You know what I'm saying? Fucking call, you know what I'm saying? Swallow your fucking ego and call John and say you're fucking sorry. And at least try to rebuild a friendship or something. Whatever, something. Some type of human interaction, real human interaction. Not a bunch of fucking NPCs / drones that are in his comment section. Not your fucking NPC wife. Like some real fucking human interaction. He clearly craves it, but he doesn't know how to go about it. And this is what this interview is supposed to give him. Now, in typical Darksydephil fashion, that's probably not what's going to happen. But that's what he's looking for. Because you bring new people in, he learns a bit about the world outside, they become sympathetic to him, being like, oh, look at this pathetic creature who can't do the most basic shit. Maybe they'll give him more money, and then more importantly, maybe they'll feel even more sorry for him and defend him in the long run. If you want a case study of that or an example, look at Brightside Viking. He's probably one of the best examples of that. And I think that's what he's expecting here. And as for Craig, this is kind of a new lease on life. So you got two people essentially using each other, which it is what it is. Using each other to try to further their goals or ambition or whatever the case may be. How it pans out, who could say, but as the history has taught us, no one steps in and out of a business relationship a social relationship or just an interaction in general with DSP clean. Nobody leaves this clean. And that's something that I don't think is said often enough. And it doesn't just apply to people who directly engage with Darksydephil, so to speak, because detractors do it. You know what I'm saying? Detractors go ahead and also interact with him in some way, shape, or form, whether directly or through the content or whatever. And we've seen how many people we've lost to the vortex over that. So, you know, it's like anything else. You look into the abyss long enough, that bitch will look back. And either you know, if you blink, that's it. That's it. To be honest. So, whatever. Anyway, so we'll see what happens with Craig and DSP, and we'll see who blinks first in his interview. But for now, let's go ahead and get into the two situations here, and I'll let you go on with your day after that. So, first, we'll start off with Craig, because why not? We are here with the side scrollers. Let's see, what is this called? We have a mental health problem. That's an interesting title. This is from March 14th of 2023. The link will be down in the description. The follow-up to that will be, let's see, DSP. I'm appearing on the Side Scroller podcast on Thursday at 9 p.m. 9 a.m., sorry. And this was posted on March 15th, so the day after. So, there's that. Yeah. And in my current timeline, you know what I'm saying? The interview is later today. So, womp womp on that. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get to it. Like I said, hopefully you guys are all doing well. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. And, here we go.
Our community would too. That's what we're building here, is a positive community, not a hateful community. I don't want to do the fake hate bullshit. I'm not doing that. Suzuki says toxic positivity. No, I'm not doing that toxic positivity bullshit either. Right? I'm going to be real with you, for real, faux real. Let's get a little Double Dragon 3 music going on.
While you do that, let me get adjusted myself. So, we'll see. We'll see how this pans out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with side scrollers. This is a how do I word this? This is like a solo stream that Craig does at the end of the day and whatnot. So it's a pretty cool thing that he does. Aside from the main side scroller podcast. Anyway, the link will be down in the description. It says the title of this though is "We Have a Mental Health Problem." This is from March 14th of 2023. The link will be down in the description. Here we go.
Our community would too. That's what we're building here, is a positive community, not a hateful community. I don't want to do the fake hate bullshit. I'm not doing that. Suzuki says toxic positivity. No, I'm not doing that toxic positivity bullshit either. Right? I'm going to be real with you, for real, faux real. Let's get a little Double Dragon 3 music going on. Ravens Adolpha says, you're about to bring on the most hateful person. Oh, we'll talk about that for sure. We'll definitely talk about that. But yeah, this isn't Drama Alert. This isn't Keemstar, right? I'm not looking to make a buck off people being shitheads. Like, I've said this before. I've said this a million times. I have zero desire to be an influencer or a YouTuber. I have 100% desire to build a positive community. I've been there. I've been the influencer guy before.
I mean, theoretically, you're a YouTuber / streamer right now. So you want to build a positive community doing what exactly? You need a platform, and you need a way to, and you need to be doing something on that set platform. Now, granted, I understand what he's saying, because there are plenty of people who do YouTube and don't consider themselves YouTubers, right? And there are plenty of people who stream and don't consider themselves like full-time streamers or whatever the case may be. But you know, by the laws of matter, right? You have to be doing something somewhere. And by definition, someone is going to put a label on you for that. So we'll see. As it pertains to, you know, doing drama content or whatever, it's lucrative, to be honest with you. I mean, anybody who does this for profit knows that. They'll tell you. It can be lucrative. And there's a lot of shit that comes along with it. And it's very, very easy to... excuse me. It's very, very easy to say, I'm not going to get fucking sucked down into the fucking toxic toilet juice scenario until you see those first couple of checks come in. Because money changes shit, clearly. You know what I'm saying? And you know, Craig's a businessman, right? So he should have an idea of where I'm coming from when I say this. Money changes the situation. You know what I'm saying? For sure, for sure. So, like I said, we'll see. We'll see. But like I said, no one walks out of this shit clean. No one walks out of this shit clean.
My screw tax content was seen billions of times, like literally billions of times. Like, been there, done it. I don't need that shit anymore. Yeah, I don't care. I want to build a positive place because the internet is sucks. The internet sucks. It's way different from when I last was attempting to build something fun. So.
And that's true too, but I mean, you are the tribe that you attract, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? You put yourself out there, you're going to attract people that are like-minded to you, and some other, you know, DSP might call that riffraff or whatever the case may be. So it's not necessarily that the internet is a shitty place. It can be, or at least there are aspects of the internet that's clearly very shitty, right? But it is what you make of it, like anything else in life, essentially. You got to take the good with the bad. So, I mean, hopefully he's being primed walking into this, because this is clearly uncharted territory for him. You know what I'm saying? So, let's see if he can keep that same energy up later on in the timeline. We'll have to see.
A random lady, a random girl shows up at the office. And she shows up and she's like, "Hey, how are you?" And I have no idea who this person is, right? "How are you? This is for you. I think you love these." She hands me like a 6-pack of Coke. She goes, "I know you love Coke." I'm like, "What?"
Hold on. I heard you love Coke. Oh shit, hold on a second.
At the office. And she shows up and she's like, "Hey, how are you?" And I have no idea who this person is, right? "How are you? This is for you. I think you love these." She hands me like a 6-pack of Coke. She goes, "I know you love Coke." I'm like, "What?"
That's so good. Just imagine someone randomly coming up and saying, "I hear you love Coke." Holy shit. I mean, granted, obviously he's talking about the soda, but it's the way he framed it is fucking hilarious. Oh shit. That's so fucking funny. Random as hell, but definitely funny.
Talking about, right? YouTubers became a thing, protecting your identity, right? And I get it, right? Now, some people will say like, "Hey, like the other day you asked about anybody who wants to give like tips or has anything about Phil. Like, I want to know who I'm dealing with, right?" And so be like, "Well, you're doxing people." No, I'm just asking to know who I'm working with, right? Who's providing me information. And I think there's a big difference there, right? Because if I'm going to make myself available, then I feel like it should be mutual, right? Some people.
Well, yet again, okay. So he's talking about anonymity and shit like that. All right, first things first. As a journalist, right? Sorry, he doesn't consider himself a journalist, but in journalism, right? You're going to have people who are going to give you information and they're not going to necessarily want to be known, right? Just because they're asking for a bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Discretion on your behalf doesn't take away from the validity of the information. Is some of it going to be bullshit? Could all of it be bullshit? Sure, certainly. But as a journalist, even though he's not a journalist, as an investigator into some degree of this shit, because he had to do research to get everything together so he could, present his points or whatever the case may be. You need to do some footwork too. Essentially, look at when people give you information, look at it as an outline, and then you go back, you backtrack a little bit, you find out what about it's true and what isn't, and you sift through it. You have to find out what's what. I'm not calling him lazy, and like he wants people to just give him the information and then he just presents it to Phil. I'm not saying that, but it kind of comes across being a bit lazy. Like, this is how it works. This is how it's always worked, to be honest. Now, he's saying that, oh, well, I need people to kind of, if I'm going to put myself out there, other people need to do it too. Who's the biggest name that he's spoken to so far? Let's say it's a Gundam, for example. As far as I know people tried to dox him during that Pokemon situation. Maybe even someone did. Anyway, the point being is that I know It's a Gundam is in talks or whatever the case may be. Has Gundam doxed himself to you? Has he? I mean, even if it's in a private setting, right? Like a Discord chat, but just between the two of them or whatever. Did you ask Gundam to go ahead and reveal his face to you and shit, so you could take, so that validates anything that he says to you? And the reason why I bring up Gundam in particular, big ups, is because Craig says he's a fan of Gundam. So, you're someone who's already been exposed to his content. Would you put him through that? If you didn't, that makes you a hypocrite. Because whether you like Gundam or not, prior to you doing this nonsense with DSP, right? If you're gonna hold if you're gonna hold everybody to this expectation, to this not narrative, if you're gonna hold everybody else's feet to the fire, then you need to do that to Gundam too. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And yet again, he's not really familiar with how this community works and shit. There's a lot of nonsense that goes on over here, on both sides of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. And I mean, I can say that because I'm your favorite detractor's least favorite detractor. But like, there's just a lot of nonsense that goes on, right? And there's a lot of people that kind of float around in this community and shit for various reasons. So putting your real name out there or your face or whatever is not necessarily very advantageous. But he don't know that because, he don't know nothing about Detractor history or whatever. So you could say you could give him a pass, but I would hope someone would have been able to express that sentiment to him and why that's not necessarily a thing. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. And then there's a lot of people who have made a name for themselves in the Detractor community, for good or bad, who, yet again, you kind of just got to sift through that shit. You just got to sift through. It is what it is. Even the most respectable detractor, anything that they tell you, you should go back and verify for whatever reason, just to be sure. You know what I mean? If not, you're going to start passing Darksydephil or anybody else you interview. You're going to just start passing them wins if you keep bringing them misinformation. And when you have someone like Darksydephil, for example, he'll take the smallest shit. You know what I'm saying? You can have 99.9% of everything right and have him pinned to the fucking piggy cross, right? As our bacon Christ in torment. And that last percent, you know what I'm saying? That last 0.1%, he will run with that bitch and whatnot, and he will stay holding on to it. You don't believe me? Look at his 4th place finish at EVO in 2005.
But I think, that's how I was taught, right? I was taught that anonymous sources most of the time are bullshit, right? That's how I was trained when I went to school for journalism. Like I said, I'm not.
Okay, but you're saying that, right? But also you're saying that you're not a journalist, right? So I would expect you to be able to look at the bigger picture, given what your situation is. Now, this is me being an asshole and nitpicking because, well, that's what I do. But truth be told, this goes back to what I said in our TED Talk. Are you a journalist or are you not a journalist? Which one is it? You're saying, hey, my training has taught me that, hey, anybody who gives you any information anonymously is more than likely bullshit. That's a terrible narrative to have, and I'm curious on who would have told you that. But semantics. But anybody who gives me anonymous information is bullshit. They shouldn't be trusted. They shouldn't be whatever. So, you have to reveal your face to me or whatever. You got to give me more, so it gives your what you say more credence or credit or whatever the case may be. But here's the problem: you could easily have someone who's sitting there talking to you, and truth be told, they may not have all of it right. They may have none of it right. They may just be trolling you or fucking with you. What are you going to do then, Craig? Are you going to dox them then? Because they gave you bad information? No. So then what's the point? And don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating for doxing, because I'm clearly not. But, not even but. I don't advocate for that. So what are you going to do if someone was willing to show their face to you in a private setting and the information still turns out to be bullshit? Then what? Are you going to dox them? If so, who are you going to dox them to? Now, with that aside, are you a journalist or are you not? If you're not going to be a journalist, right, because you don't believe in journalism or whatever the case may be, then you should be more open-minded. You should be far more open-minded going into this. It's the internet. It's life in general. People probably lie to you every day and you don't know it. It's just, it is what it is. Do you go around assuming everybody's a fucking liar? If you do, then you're just going to end up like DSP. Or you're already like DSP and you're fucking basically a paranoid sociopath and shit. Maybe even schizophrenic to some degree, now that I think about it. And you're not going to accomplish anything. You'll never be able to trust anybody. And in life, you're going to have to put a level of trust into somebody. Whether it comes from your entertainment, well, not necessarily entertainment, make of that what you will, but like, you know, like YouTubers and shit like that. Like, make of whatever I say, make of it, whatever you make of it. But like, the people who handle your food, unless you're cooking everything yourself. The people who work on your car, unless you're only working on your car. Your bosses and shit. If you work a job or a career or whatever. Your professors, if you're in school. Excuse me. If you own your own business, depending on what you're doing, you have to depend on suppliers and shit, right? You have to depend on other services to get shit done. What I'm saying is that as a journalist, you have to exercise a level of trust, and then you have to go back and vet the information. It's what makes shit work. And so that's my situation, or my thoughts at least on that situation. You can't just, someone showing you your face or giving you their name means not a goddamn thing. It don't.
I don't pretend to be. I never said I am. I've actually gone on a way to say I'm not. And I'll repeat that many, many times. But
yet you're still willing to stick to some of the tomes that profession adheres? I'm not saying that you should stick into you can't stick to the structure to some degree, but there should be a bit of slack. There should be a bit of leeway. If you don't believe in being a journalist, or what journalism is, or whatever you perceive journalism is, I should say, then you should be a little bit more open-minded to your scenario, to your situation. You should open yourself up a little bit more. That's all I'm saying. And I assume, at least I hope so, not everybody that he's speaking to at the moment has had to get on a call and show their face to him. I really hope that didn't happen. Because yet again, even if they got something wrong, even if they misspoke, what if they're trolling? What are you going to do then? There's still no repercussions to it. Yeah, you could try to name and shame them, I guess, or their screen name or whatever. But then that's going to fade out and then no one's going to care anyway. I said, there's a lot of shit that's overlooked that's not addressed. Why would that be any different?
I was trained. That's the way I was taught, right? And very rarely, I don't know. It's like I totally understand the VTuber thing, the idea of protecting the anonymity of things, right? Like, but at this point, let's say he wants to make VTuber Craig, and it was called whatever, Professor Z or whatever. I don't know, whatever. And there's a VTuber. You think I can get away with it with my voice? I've been talking online for 17 years, right? I'd be called out immediately. You know what I mean? So it's tough, man. It's tough. So, fortunate because
I don't know. That's a choice that you made, though. Like, you made the choice to put yourself out there like that. Could he start a VTuber persona and start from scratch? Certainly he could. I mean, he can't use Craig. He can't use the previous persona and try to reinvent it. He has to start somewhere else. He has to get a voice changer. He's going to have to legitimately start from scratch. So I think the scenario is a little bit different. If you have people who are already running around anonymous, right, or running around under a screen name or whatever the case may be, right, and they want to give you information or whatever the case may be, they shouldn't be discounted because who they really are isn't really out there, or their information anyway. I don't know. I'm kind of whatever. Whatever. I'm just saying that, like, unless all the people who participated in this literally were on a voice call individually, on a voice call with him, or on a Skype call or whatever, and they actually got on webcam and they showed their face. Unless that happened with everybody that he's going to vet his information through, that seems a bit hypocritical. I'm just saying. And for someone who's been on the internet as long as he has, you just can't discount people like that. You know, you take the good with the bad, just like in IRL. Whatever. Let's continue. That's, tomato.
I understand my place on the internet right now, which is non-existent, and I love it. Right? People are like, you're doing these podcasts for clicks or whatever. Yeah, well, look, I'm looking to make a business out of this, absolutely, but I'm not looking to I'm not looking to go to the mountaintop or anything here. Like, I want to have a fun hobby that pays bills. That's it.
Okay, this is going to be super fucking nitpicky on my part, but for any of you who know your lore, you may know what I'm talking about. DSP, it had to have been in 2016, maybe. Could have been even 2015, but it might have been 2016. It could have been even early 2017. Had to have been one of the begging videos that he used to do, or that he's known for. It's unfortunate he doesn't do many of them now, but we're still only in the first 3 months of the year, so things could happen. There's still a lot of time out there. But you remember when DSP used to make videos like this? He, in one particular video, right, he sat there and said, I don't want to be the biggest YouTuber. I don't want to be a millionaire. I don't want to be super popular. I just want this little part of the internet just for me, and I want to just be able to make a living. This is when Panda was still in the picture. I just want to make a living. I want to just have a good life with my girlfriend, and I just want to have a happy life. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I want. I just want my little piece of the fucking internet. That's what this sounds like. And the irony of it was DSP had his little piece of the fucking internet. And look at how he squandered it. Look at how he fucking squandered it. Every opportunity that DSP has ever had, he has pissed away in some way, shape, or form. In such ways that he'll never be able to get it back. Which is why this whole interview arc is so goddamn funny, because no interview or no interviewer can fix this. You can't fix, 14, 15 years, whatever the fuck. You can't fix that many years worth of mistakes. We're talking about damn near 2 decades of problems, missteps, antagonizing people for no goddamn reason because you thought you could, because, I don't know, you thought you were special, or you thought you were part of some type of protected group, or whatever the case may be, hiding behind managed partnerships and behind MCNs and all that bullshit, and in the end, none of it meant the goddamn thing. Sooner than later, Darksydephil will wear out his welcome with whoever individuals or corporations that he does business with, which goes back to yet again what we said previously. No one walks away from doing business or interacting with Darksydephil clean. Nobody does. And no interview is going to fix that. And the fact that DSP believes in some way, shape, or form, if he can find somebody with status who can help do so, which is part of the reason why he does interviews in the first place, is foolish. But it goes back to the old narrative with DSP where we're always looking for the easy way out. We're always looking for the quick fix. Oh, there's something wrong with that bitch? Give her a pill and leave her somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Or another infamous situation where he talked about, I can't remember what he was talking about, what ailment he had at that time. But he's like, he's like, the medication will like temporarily fix the problem, but it won't cure it. Well, yeah, there's no quick fix to anything in life. There's no cure that can be taken in one pill that's at least publicly available, I should say, available to really anybody. That's life. Life is about struggle. It's going to have ups and downs. You working through it builds character. It builds character. And DSP runs around trying to say, oh, I am a character. Oh, people got mad at me because they took shit too seriously. Yada, yada, yada. He's been saying this shit for years. But truth be told, he is what he is. The way Phil Burnell, DSP, Darksydephil, DSP, Darksydephil, Phil Burnell, the way he does anything is the way he does everything. And the proof is in the pudding. And as time has gone on, he's gotten lazier and lazier. And there's not one person, there's not even one group of people out there that can fix all of his fuck-ups. Because you're not in DSP's head. You don't necessarily know what he wants or needs. Right? And even from this perspective here, I have a lot of ideas on how this shit could be fixed. But okay, quick aside. There is no fixing any of this shit. He's just got to live with it. My way of thinking is he just feeds into his infamy. He has to not lean into it. He has to embrace it. And he has to move with it. If he did that, he could make a whole load of money. You know what I mean? But the problem is, outside of all of his fucking addictions, is his ego. He can't take an L. Even for profit, he can't take an L. He may feint it, right? He might feint, like, oh, I've learned, oh, I understand my mistakes. He may try to own up to shit, believing that if he does so, will put him in a better position. But that's not actually accepting his place in the world. That's not him really owning up to his mistakes. It's him basically telling people what they want to hear for him to get them into a much more vulnerable position. Which is very predatory, obviously. But womp womp.
Not a fun business that pays bills, more than a hobby, because I'm taking it very seriously. But I don't, like I said, I don't know, man. It's a lot. It's a lot because you never know who's on the other side, especially with anonymity online, and it's scary. It is scary at times. So when there's a lot of you, I will say this: I've met a lot of people at events. And this happened more than a handful of times where people feel like they know me because they watched me for a long time and they expect that I know them. But in reality, I don't, right? I don't know who most of you guys are. I've met many of you at community meetups and such. We did at Vegas last year and such. But that's like the inner circle, right, of G2s, right? Those are like the ones who are the hardcore of hardcore, right?
But see, that right there is kind of a, I wouldn't say it's a shot, but it's a pretty fair description of DSP and Craig's situation right now. DSP can sit there and say, oh, well, I met Craig all those years ago at whatever Screw Attack event or whatever the case may be. I sat there and I talked to him for a couple hours on this one particular fucking day, whatever. We're friends. And or at the very least, I have a rapport with him and you don't. You haven't followed up on that. You know fuck all about Craig and he knows fuck all about you. You met at a conference 10 plus years ago or whatever the fuck it was, and you talked to each other for like 2 hours and shit. And you played on a team with him on some team-based game or whatever the sense may be. But that's all DSP needs to get his fucking hoof through the door. And if he can get through that door, and if he can feed them God knows what fucking sob story he's going to try to give them on this interview, he thinks that'll be just enough that they can see the narrative his way and hopefully be more, well, they're going to certainly pity, but he's going to want them to be sympathetic to him, and he's going to want them to bring him in. But DSP doesn't necessarily even want to be part of this exclusive group of G2s or whatever. He's looking for another way of insulating himself. That's really all it is. And if you look at it, it's no different than any other group he's ever been associated with. If you think back to his FGC days, if you think about when he was with the Connecticut crew for a while, when you think about when he was clicking up with other people within the FGC, I should say, same concept. He was always trying to put himself into the group and hope that it was insulation. It was people that would protect him from his namesayers and whatever, so he can get on his fucking broken-ass soapbox and talk his shit and think there ain't going to be no repercussions. Because, oh, you guys are my friends, so you'll stand up for me. Or, I'm part of you guys now, I'm with you guys, so you have to stand up for me, right? Because you guys will stand up for each other in those scenarios. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's all DSP knows how to do is at least try to use people and lie. He doesn't know how to do much of anything else. Or at least not well, anyway. Not to say that he does either one of those things well, but you know what I mean. That's all this is. Now, whether Craig can identify that or not, I don't know. But I'm hearing a lot of trust issues, certainly, as it pertains to this anonymity thing. But you got DSP right in your fucking face right now. At least in my current timeline, I should say. How much do you really trust him? Knowing that he has this fucking, no pun intended, this army of hate. You know what I'm saying? Surrounding him. Big ups to Hate Army. You know what I'm saying? How much do you really trust him? Even if you don't trust the people giving you the information for whatever reason, because they're anonymous or whatever, look at the amount of content that's out there. It's not like this for no reason. It's not like this for no reason. DSP has earned the ire of the internet at large, and he did everything in his power to do so. You'd be hard-pressed to find someone who says he didn't. And if you do find one, they've probably already been fucked in some type of way. And if they haven't, they're probably going to. Nothing good comes from defending Darksydephil.
So, and you see these kids who have had so much success at an early age, and it's because they're super talented, right? But there is a window for success on YouTube. You can stick around for a good while, right? You can do things for 5-10 years or whatever, but you always got to be kind of reinventing yourself. But you see these
that can be said
who,
for anything. As it pertains to people who find early success on YouTube and whatnot, to stay up with the, I don't want to say trending, and I don't necessarily want to say staying with the times, and I don't even really want to say to be relevant. If you wanted to continue to grow as a content creator, you have to continue to grow as a person, and to do that, you have to reinvent yourself. And not reinvent it. Well, you do have to reinvent yourself to a degree, but you have to reinvest in yourself. Now, when I mean reinvest, I don't necessarily mean money. I also mean time. You have to see what's going on out there, and like if you do gaming, right? Or if you do, actually, let's choose something that I'm actually interested in. Let me give you a window into my head for a minute. I'm really big into Vampire the Masquerade, and mainly the lore of it more than the actual role playing or whatnot. I've seen role playing, I've participated. It's fun, and so on and so forth. But I'm really interested in the lore, and there's a lot of lore. I'm super interested in that, right? And there were like maybe 2 or 3 people on YouTube who I watched who did a lot of lore content, right? And as you know, YouTube is constantly changing its algorithm, so they're bringing new people in, so on and so forth. And so, and because I run a lot of shit in the background while I'm doing other shit, something will pop up that from a content creator who I'm not familiar with, and I'll listen to it if I'm feeling it. I usually give it about 10 minutes. If I'm feeling what he or she is saying, then I hit the description. Most of them actually put down information where they put down listings to where they have their information or notations or whatever the case may be. And I'll go and look, and it's constantly like a puzzle that that I feel like I'm continuing to try to build when it comes to all of this lore. Because if you follow any of the clans, right, and you follow the individuals in those clans, they're all linked, not all of them. Most of them are linked to other people, and they're linked through these certain situations or whatever. But you have to dig to find these situations. So if I'm looking for a scenario between Beckett and, I don't know, Helen, for example, with the situation in Chicago and whatever. If you know, you know. There are characters that are linked between the two of them long before that they met up. I need to find those characters and read about them and their situations to understand why Beckett ended up going to see Helen in the first place. Now, I could just go ahead and say, oh, he met Helen. Helen basically tortured him, or basically forced him to kind of torture himself for her own amusement, and somehow he got out, yada, yada, yada. But that doesn't tell me enough. I need more than that. And so, that's me. Just to give you guys an idea of the situation. But if I want to learn more about anything, I have to invest not just money. I didn't cost me anything to do any of that. I have to invest my time. As a content creator, you have to do the same. And that doesn't matter where you're at. Even as a detractor, troll, hater, or critic, you have to kind of invest. You have to invest your time as it pertains to the perspectives of other detractors, trolls, haters, and critics. You can stay in your own bubble and watch the same... Not bubble, let me not say it like that. You can stay within your comfort zone and watch the same people over and over again, depending on what your scenario is. There's a lot of people who don't really fuck with commentary. They want the clips, they want them quick, and then they're done with their day. You got some people who like long-form clips. You got people who like really sharp edits, really funny edits. You got people who like commentary. You got people who like commentary that's like 20, 30 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour. And then you start getting into the really long form shit like what I do. Like Steve the Dead and whatnot. Big ups and up. And stuff like that. You know what I mean? Everybody has their comfort zone and what they're looking for and so on and so forth. But within each one of those groups and or categories, the more perspective that you have, the better off you'll be. Give you a quick example and then let's move the fuck on. So, I watch a lot of troll content, clearly. But, But in the Wings community, for example, I float around a couple of different people as it pertains to clip stuff, because even though they cut everything from the same stream on the same day, they don't all give me the same perspective. So I can watch a Lummix video, right? Big ups to Lummix. And, you know, maybe he has a 10, 15 minute, 20 minute video. And I catch that, great video, and then I move on. Then I might hit up Breaking Banquet or 007 or one of the other guys, there's another guy, Wings Dome or whoever, and they have they grab their stuff from the exact same stream, but they added on to what I've already seen from Lummix. So Lummix was was my foundation. And then all of these other troll videos or whatever help build up the house or the wall or whatever it was I was trying to build as it pertains to what what was Wings doing that particular day. So I opened myself up to that because it gives me the larger picture later on down the line. And even though they're not providing commentary, right? Even the people who do edits, you're getting their personality. And you're also getting their perspective, because not everybody can just give you everything. If not, they would just upload the whole damn thing raw. So people choose what they feel is important, or what they feel is insightful, or what they feel is entertaining. You know what I'm saying? And that right there is, yet again, it goes back to investing. The more that you absorb of it, and from more people, it gives you a better perspective. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you, don't sit down and watch content that you're not interested in, right? Or whatever. Don't do that. Don't force yourself to watch content to give yourself the bigger picture if that's what you're not into. If you're there for just quick entertainment and you want to move on, cool. But if you're someone who really is trying to absorb what's going on in a particular situation, that's the best way to do it. That's legitimately the best way to do it. But that's just me, though. You know what I'm saying? I like hearing different perspectives, or whatever the case may be. As it pertains to going back, yet again, sorry, but going back to Craig's point, you have to invest in yourself. Not just, like I said, not just financially, but socially. You have to get out there. You have to see what's going on, and you see what you can adapt to your style, to what you're doing. You know, it doesn't have to be this bullshit with DSP where he says, I had to completely change who I am and I stay true to myself. Fuck all that. Fuck all that. You can still be yourself and add components to make you better. And that's the perspective. You can absorb aspects of things to make yourself better. If you can't, that shows how short-sighted you are as a person. And you'll never accomplish anything because you'll be too scared of losing what you already have. And that's why DSP is where he's at.
Their light shines so bright for just a short amount of time, 6 months, a year, whatever, and they get used to these big checks and everyone telling them how great they are. You see this with the music industry, with sports, whatever. Pick any industry where you see a lot of success early on, acting, and then it just stops. And then what happens? You get ripped apart. These kids get ripped apart, and they are destroyed mentally. And that's tough, man.
And it is, but they need to have a stronger foundation around them. You need, like, first off, as it pertains to your rise, right, in anything that you do, you should expect it to be fleeting. So all this money that comes in, all these big paychecks or whatever, let's talk about the financial aspect of it first. All of the financial aspects that come along with this, bank that bitch. Bank it, because you never know. Like you said, 6 months, a year, 2 years, who knows what will happen within 5 years, let's say. So bank that. You know what I'm saying? And keep your options open. That's the easiest thing that you could tell anybody. If you started YouTube and you're starting to get into monetization and you're starting to get a real buzz, start banking that money. Start saving. Because you never know how long that's going to last. On top of that, the next most important thing as it pertains to money is contacts. And I don't mean just other content creators, which is always good to have, you know, any of their contact information to reach out for whatever reason. And I don't mean just for collaborations. I'm talking about if anybody that you can get cool with at Twitch, at YouTube, any sponsorships or endorsements, if you have a direct line to someone in PR, for example, or someone in advertising for any of those companies, that shit goes a long way. And if you building up a rapport with people is extremely important from a business aspect. It really is. So that's your financial and social aspect of it. That is financial and social, your social aspect right then and there. Now let's get into notoriety and whatever the case may be. People will love you 1 minute, or at least like you 1 minute, and they'll hate you the next, or they'll just move on. That happens. People grow out of content. They grow out of content creation. They grow out of content creators. It's to be expected. And so you shouldn't take any offense to any of it. And truth be told, you should already be planning for it. Okay, people love your content. Great. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for supporting. But if they end up picking up and leaving in a year, let's say 6 months. 6 months to a year, no grudges, you shouldn't hold anything about anything. You appreciate the time that you had there, or you appreciate the time you guys had together, and then you move on. And that's how it should be. You take anything more than that, and you're essentially sniffing your own farts. And that's going to lead to problems. It's going to lead to big problems. And there's always someone out there watching you. And there's going to always be someone out there watching your behavior. You can't run down or chase down everybody who has I don't want to say a bad opinion of you. Let's say an opposing opinion of you. You can't do that. I mean, you can, but you're wasting your own time and you're really exposing yourself. To be honest, you're really exposing yourself of how little of a person that you are. To be honest, you provide content. People are going to say what they want about that set content. It is what it is. If not, you're going to fall down that rabbit hole where DSP, where Wings, where Low Tier God, where Review Tech USA, and the rest of these lol cows did, and you're just going to only set yourself up to fail. It is what it is. Maybe those people come back, maybe they don't. You got to keep pushing. And if you're not, and as you're making this content, and as you're growing as a content creator, you need to grow as a person too. Not everybody who says something bad about you, not everything bad about you is true, and not everything that's good about you is true. And you have to find that balance within yourself. That's where content creators really shine and really grow, and that really stems from a lot of the longevity. Criticism's going to come and go, just like people who love your content. But you yourself have to keep pushing if this is what you're choosing to do. And all the fucking flashy cars, all the fucking jewelry, all this, that, and the third, whatever, unless you're using your money to make you more money, you're just wasting time. And you're wasting resources. And one day, you're going to wake up like Darksydephil, you're going to wake up like Wings, and you're going to have damn near nothing, and you're begging for scraps online. And you're going to have an army of people clipping that shit and laughing at it. And those content creators, if they monetize their content, are going to be laughing there all the way to the bank. And then you're going to get ass clowns like me that are going to sit there and laugh at you and break that shit down. And be like, look at what kind of pathetic piece of shit he is. Or she is. Or whatever. No one ever plans to fail. Everybody, well, most people, just seem to fail to plan. That's what the real situation is. And if you don't have a strong infrastructure around you or support base, you're just going to fall victim just like everybody else. Just a thought.
That's tough. Not familiar with that one. Com says, I feel bad for content creators that blow up early and don't understand how to handle it. Ninja actually was smart with his money. Very rare. Oh, yeah. Well, outside of the money, like it's way bigger than money. Way bigger than money. You know, and
actually, Ninja's wife was smart with the money. Truth be told, that's really well. If you follow Ninja or some of his circles, then you already know what I'm saying. So it is what it is. But Ninja's wife is the one who was like, it was Ninja's wife really, who was the one who really was smart about the money. To be honest with you, that's really what it is. Because at the end of the day, Ninja gets his high, so to speak, at least as far as I know. He gets his high from gaming. That's what pushes him forward, or whatever the case may be. And the money aspect of it, or his earning potential, or whatever, is equally as important. But he's not someone. He needed someone else to kind of have his back on that and be his support system, which is what his wife was there for. That's why you married her. You know what I'm saying? It's not just, you're a team. And one of your partner's strengths cover your weaknesses, and your strengths cover their weaknesses. It's a hand and glove type situation. An actual partnership. Now DSP don't know shit about that, neither does Wings. And that's why DSP uses his wife as a fucking beard, a fucking window dressing, really. She's really more of a curtain more than anything else. And Wings only uses Kelly, essentially, for medical insurance. And servitude, essentially. That's the more I watch Wings and Kelly, to be honest with you, the more one-sided that marriage becomes. And I was right about that shit from the rip. I was right from the rip that marriage was completely and utterly one-sided. Now, Kelly knows that too. Kelly knows that too. And Wings, he thinks, you know, he can go ahead and treat her like shit one minute, and then he can go ahead and be supportive the next minute, and one thing cancels the other thing out. Well, let me ask you this, Wings. All those times that your mother fucked you over out of money and everything else, when is she going to come through and do something for you that clears some of that up? When is that going to be a thing? Because your mother clearly used you, and probably still does, but she clearly, during your early days of YouTube, those more lucrative days, I should say, your mother used you for every cent that she could get out of you. She played you on multiple fronts. Remortgaging the mobile mansion multiple times, the money for the bar or restaurant or whatever the fuck that was going to be, and God knows how many loans and stuff or how much money you just randomly gave to her. And truth be told, you were just trying to buy that woman's love, and that woman didn't give a fuck about any of that. She just tried to squeeze you for everything she had. And that's truly sad, to be honest with you. I don't have a punchline to that. I just think it's really sad.
About just the day-to-day. Once again, there's a window where people think their shit doesn't stink because everyone's telling them their shit doesn't stink, and then all of a sudden they're like, you know, it's just like any other entertainment business. People will use you, lose you, and get rid of you. You know, use you for their purpose, make a little money off you, and then they'll drop you like a bad habit. And that happens all the time.
First things first, everybody uses everybody, believe it or not, and whatnot. It's it's not the trick. The situation is you don't want to be misused and you don't want to misuse other people. That's the first thing. Secondly, as it pertains to people trying to make a little bit of money off of you and discarding you or whatever, if you don't know what your self-worth is, then someone else will come along and tell you what your self-worth is, and it will always be lower than what you're worth. And that right there is a problem that a lot of us have, not just online but in IRL. You have to know what your worth is and be willing to fight for it and be willing to demand it. If not, then someone else will dictate that to you. Let me give you a quick example and let's move on. There was a time, and most of you guys know this, but there was a time on Twitch where DSP but DSP used to get $20 donations like it was nothing. Just people used to just fling money at him on Twitch, in tips, gifted subs, and in cheers or bits. They used to just toss that at him, and he didn't give a shit because he never thought it was enough, and he never thought that people appreciated him enough, or whatever the case may be. Or people on Twitch appreciated him, but people on YouTube didn't, and they needed to step their shit fucking up. Because that was the only way that this business. Oh, it's not a business. It's not registered anywhere as a business. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. It's the only way that his quote unquote business could continue to move forward. Because DSP convinced people, how I'll never know, but he convinced people that hey, if he stops doing content, they were going to be somehow poorer for it. They were going to somehow be. I could use a food analogy to say malnourished, but they were something was going to be cut out of their life that was truly important, meaningful, if you will, if he somehow stopped doing content. Ladies and gentlemen, the internet's a big ass fucking place, and I don't need to preach to the choir, but you should never feel that way about any content creator online, at all. There is too many options out there, and there's too many options out there to ever feel the need to believe that. It's despicable if anybody even tells you that. Truth be told, the moment DSP had said that, and he posted that YouTube video, people should have immediately clicked off of it. That was the most, oh my god, that was the most short-sighted and clearly narcissistic shit, that one of the most narcissistic things that he's ever said. The internet's a big fucking place, and YouTube is a big, big place. There's a lot of talented people out there. You know what I'm saying? Even within detractors, trolls, haters, and critic circles and shit, If DSP flopped tomorrow, if he failed, if he ended up getting kicked off the internet or whatever the case may be, there's so much content out there to be made on him still, it doesn't even matter. And then, more importantly than that, which this is something that some people are already doing, but I foresee more detractors, trolls, haters, and critics doing it as time goes on, is they'll just gravitate to other locales. There are plenty of them out there, and diversity is a good thing. To be honest with you, should never hedge your bets on just one thing. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that. Be a master of your craft, if you will. But there's a lot of funny people out there, man, and whatnot, and there's a lot to chase after. Darksydephil might hurt a few people, but eventually they'll find their way and move up and move on. If not, then, you know, it is what it is. They had a good run where they were at. But trust me, the circus doesn't end because of one particular fucking monkey. But I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it on a butt. I'm just gonna leave it on a. We're gonna leave it on that cliffhanger. I'm just gonna leave it on that cliffhanger.
All the time.
And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. So, in another video or in a future video, we'll come back to that.
So anyways, yeah. Basekeck says, "Hey Craig, do you like anonymity when you ask for bits and super chats?" Well, when they come in, I don't. Very rarely does anonymity happen with bits. I don't think I've ever had an anonymous super chat before. But when they do come in, I think I've only had like an anonymous super chat or anonymous bits, or maybe a few gifted subs, and it's like, would I rather know who it's coming from? Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
But you still accepted it, right?
Would I prefer? Yeah, because I would like to personally thank them and say thank you very much. But you know, it is what it is. So
okay, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page about that, because truth be told, if you have someone who anonymously comes in and gives you memberships or gifted subs or whatever the case may be, some people just don't want the notoriety, or they don't feel the need to have the recognition, especially in that scenario where it's something for the betterment of the community, if you will. So there's a lot of people out there that aren't looking for recognition or whatever the case may be. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll say this. I have passed around, and not only myself, but other members here of GTG Network and Productions, we've passed around money within the Detractor ecosystem, and none of that was ever going to be linked back to us. So it is what it is. And I've not only done that here, but I've done that with other trolls and shit too, or other content creators, I should say, and whatnot. The recognition doesn't mean anything, and it still don't. So that's just a throwaway line that most people will forget, and as they should. I don't need to be praised to support your content creators, and you don't have to do it financially. Show up to the video, hit the like, and move the fuck on. I don't comment under the majority of it. Probably none of the videos that I watch, to be honest with you, these days, as well as live streams that I watch. I don't end up. I hit the like button and then I let it play in the background. I don't even comment in those streams or anything. Just, it is what it is. It is what it is. But the point being, at the end of it is, okay, if you're giving me information, I need to know exactly who the fuck you are. But if you're willing to give me money, you know what you're gonna do. I'm not calling him a hypocrite or anything. I'm just saying, it's kind of funny how that all pans out. So how do we distinguish good money from bad money? Something to think about.
Steven says, I don't get people who all they have is the internet. They want to protect their internet persona at any cost. Right.
Well, what does that mean exactly? There's a lot of people who do a lot of shit on the internet, and they don't want that shit being backtracked or whatever the case may be. You want a good example of that? Look at that edgy bullshit that some of those guys in the commentator community try to pull. Look at Turkey Tom. When those racist allegations of his came up and shit, he tried to deny that shit or whatever the fuck he tried to do. And then his friends came out and said, nah, he did that. He did that. You know what I'm saying? And then most people point to Bo Blacks and be like, well, damn, you could tell that dude ain't fucked himself up. And this is someone who's admitted on multiple occasions he likes saying the N-word with a hard R. He thinks that shit's funny, and he says that shit in his personal life. But then when people start bringing up shit that he said that was really fucking egregious, like the N-word, online, in these ways that he thought was funny, but isn't clearly funny to anybody else, he's like, it's supposed to be a joke, dude. But everybody knows who he is. They know what he looks like. He's kind of fucked himself up in a lot of situations. To be honest, does that mean his life is over? Not necessarily. But the world has gotten a whole lot fucking smaller. There are consequences behind a lot of this shit. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of consequences behind this shit. So many people do this shit just as a hobby or whatever. No one ever wants to say what they really feel under their real name. Well, there's exceptions, I should say. Let's say not everybody feels like that. And that shouldn't necessarily be a problem. Because even under your persona, right, your chosen name of choice, there's still going to be consequences, right? Like, you could easily fuck up a persona in such a way that you have to abandon that shit and then start over somewhere else. Or under another name or whatever the case may be. Shit happens. That's all I'm saying. It shit happens. Right? And so there should be a level of... I'll say it like this. I would fight for people's rights to say what they want on the internet. There's just gonna... You at the same time, they have to understand that there's going to be consequences behind that. Or at least some of it. It is what it is. Does that mean that it needs to turn into a witch hunt? Or any of this shit? No. But there are going to be consequences. And some people have to deal. You have to think about what you're doing when you're floating around. You got to be careful. Or at least you have to consider. You got to consider what you're doing and where you're doing it.
Poor says, like, I get it, gape horn, like gape horn, I get it. It's hilarious. He says, you must have mental issues if you're having DSP on your stream, bro. Oh, you know, I got a tweet today. People want to know, like, if the stream was supposed to be an interview to start, or if it was going to be like a regular show. Originally, yeah, it was supposed to be like a regular show. But I felt like it'd be important to, like, we couldn't do like a regular show without like addressing the elephant in the room. That's what I said, you know, and so that's what we're doing first. So we're gonna do that, and we'll see how it goes. So
okay, wise choice. And yet again, DSP has so much fucking baggage that you kind of need to address it. So if you want to look at it from this perspective. Going back to something I said earlier, DSP does not have the fucking ire of the internet. He doesn't have this many people after his goddamn neck for no reason. So if you're going to bring this piece of pig shit into your fucking ecosystem, you need to lay some shit out. You know what I'm saying? There's some questions that need to be answered. And that, honestly, I think that's just kind of being responsible as a quote-unquote community leader or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? You kind of have to do that. DSP's infamy dictates that, I think. It's just something that should be done.
Just show of hands.
And the thing is, though, too, is let's say, because like I said, I'm skeptical of how this interview is going to go. But let's say this shit does gangbusters, right? Right? Then good on them. But it's what they do after the fact that is really going to be important. It's going to be super fucking important how they handle it after the fact. If DSP is going to be a stepping stone, then for Christ's sake, hopefully the side-scroller's next move is going to be their best move. Because any type of stumbles, any type of falter, in any type of way, shape, or form, and you can easily lose whatever good graces that could or could not be drawn out of this. But, yet again, time will tell. I like to, you guys know I like to forward think on shit. So, we'll see. We'll see. But the way I'm hearing about this journalism shit, I have too many high hopes behind this. I just don't.
in the chat, and I'm genuinely curious. If you are here only because I'm interviewing Darksydephil on Thursday, just put your hand up in the chat or just say hi or something. Just curious. Mr. Brockrock says social media is changing what it means to be acceptable. I agree.
I think a lot of people would agree on that. Okay, you taking a census, if you will, on people who are here because of the DSP content. I understand why. Because what he's trying to do is he's trying to appeal for people to stick around. You know what I'm saying? That's the whole point of when you're interviewing different people from different genres or whatever the case may be. You're hoping that you can not necessarily siphon off, but you're hoping that some of those people will stick around for your content outside of whatever interview or collaboration you have. That's the whole point of collaborating in the first place. It's the reason why the first collaboration was ever done. It was cross-pollination, if you will. If you're DSP though, if you're DSP though, there are problems. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can easily attract the wrong type of people. And in a lot of ways, Craig is trying to identify those people now. Are whether they're on the Detractor side or whether on DSP side. Are you guys going to be a little too rowdy? Are you going to be a little too disruptive? Are you someone that's going to end up donating a lot of money? Are you someone who is whatever? Because trust me, all streamers, well, I've never been paid off this, but I've watched enough streamers to know that they know who are the people who give them a lot of money. Your whales, your pay pigs, whatever you want to call it. They know. Big ups, RIP to Shorty Love. They know. They know who's supportive, if you will, to make it sound less egregious. And in a lot of ways, that's kind of what he's doing right now. He's trying to kind of sift through and gauge, okay, if I go down this, if this is the path that we choose to take, can this be lucrative, and how lucrative could it be aside from just doing Darksydephil content? Can I get a lot of these people to stick around and view the regular content that we're putting out? So this way it doesn't turn into just another Detractor channel. You know what I'm saying? And in a lot of ways, that's what Steel Toe Podcast did. Or that's what they were attempting to do. But what they actually, I didn't mean to do a video on that, to be honest with you. The way Steel Toe tried to do it was actually, I wouldn't say it's kind of brilliant. I might save that for the end of the video. I'm going to make a notation to talk about Steel Toe. I might forget, you know how I do. But if I don't, Steel Toe tried to do the exact same thing. They tried to do what Craig is doing and whatnot, but I think they had a better premise on how they tried to enact it, and then shit just fell apart for various reasons. But most detractors just jumped into that head first and didn't think about what they were doing and couldn't see the grift for what it was. But on top of that, Steel Toe made some missteps too. If I remember to, we'll talk about that towards the end of this broadcast, because I've been meaning to speak on that for a minute, and maybe we'll do so, and that'll lead to a larger project later. Point being, is Craig is trying to gauge who's going to stick around and who isn't. He's trying to identify people early, and it kind of makes sense. But at the same time, he should let that stuff he should kind of let that stuff happen naturally. Because if not, if he overreaches, he could hurt himself. Or he could hurt what he's doing, I should say.
KB coming in with the, if I like your content, then I'll stick around. Cool. Great. Like, this is turned into like this fucking like Barbara Walters style interview, right? where people like, I've said this a couple times, and I'll kind of reiterate this again. I could find the cure for cancer during this interview, find out who really killed JFK, figure out a clean energy source that saves humanity, and people will still hate this interview. Absolutely. Like, people will still hate it.
I mean, you don't actually expect everybody to like it, do you? Like you need hate. Well, I don't know if people say, well, hate, people probably dislike it, but you need to have pushback. It's what makes you a better content creator. If everybody likes everything you're doing, there's a problem to some degree. Like, you may not notice it or you may not recognize it just yet, but there's a problem. At the end of the day, do the best that you can for whatever that's worth, and then we'll see where the chips may where the chips may fall. In the story, I feel like he's putting more emphasis, and his expectations, I think, are larger for this interview than even for detractors, trolls, haters, and critics. Not nearly more than Darksydephil, but almost as much as the quote unquote namesayers are. So it's kind of like he's trying to be nonchalant. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just going to go in there. I'm going to do the best I can, and it is what it is, which is what he should do. But at the same time, leading up to this, he's made himself quite a bit of coin, and he's gotten quite a bit of notoriety. He's built himself a strong enough platform to, if he plays his cards right, he can build upon that. I feel like he's almost over-psyching himself, to be honest. But we'll see. We'll see. And if people just stick around for the DSP content, then they just stick around for the DSP content. To be honest with you. Like, you can't expect the content to carry over to do other things. If that was the case, most of the people who are detractors, trolls, haters, and critics who do, like, gaming content, for example, they would be doing just as well on their gaming content as they do on their detractor content. Let's just be honest with each other for a minute. Or anything else that they do, if you will. Some people only show up for a certain thing, and that's actually okay. And for those who stick around, they stick around. For those who don't, they don't. It is what it is. And you have to take everything that comes with that. If not, you're just setting yourself up to fail.
But Rock says, dude, your stream attendance on Thursday will be sky high. Who cares? I don't care. I'm not doing this for shock and jock and all that. Like, I don't care. Like, I'd be fine with 100 people tuning in. I'd be fine with 5 people tuning in. I don't care. Like,
you're trying to make a business out of this, though, right? Am I correct on that? I'm pretty sure you said you're trying to make a business out of this, and in turn, you need exposure. DSP is going to bring you a lot of exposure. And given that you, just in the previous segment, you're trying to vet and see who's here for Darksydephil and how many people are going to stick around or whatever the case may be, you should care on who's going to show up. Because that's kind of going to be the measuring stick for every other interview that comes after that. So you should care. You should be, yet again, I just talked about him being maybe overly invested in the situation, but if you're doing this as a business, this is an aspect of that you should care about. This is how I assume this is, outside of whatever, I don't know what his financial situation is, but outside of whatever he does, outside of side scrollers and whatever money he has put away, if this right here is another revenue stream, is I guess the term I'm thinking about. If this is another revenue stream, then the more exposure you can get, the better. So you should care. That's like that shit that DSP says where, oh, I don't care if I'm not the biggest person on the internet. I don't care if I don't have the notoriety or if I make the money they do. But then he runs around like a day or two later and cries about how no one respects him on the internet or no one takes what he says seriously. Then which one is it? There's a lot of people who aren't big on the internet and yet people listen to them and respect them and what they say. That's very, very true. But that's because their reputation perceives them. They've given people a reason to trust them and have faith in them, or whatever the case may be. DSP has done everything in his power not to have that. Not to have that luxury. So, you know what I'm saying? DSP talking out of both sides of his snout, just par for the course.
Hey, we're gonna do the same show regardless. This is definitely like a one-off. So, but
okay, wait. You said this is definitely a one-off, so there is no follow-up interview? Let me see something.
So, I'm not doing this for shock and jock and all that. Like, I don't care. Like, I'd be fine with 100 people tuning in. I'd be fine with 5 people tuning in. I don't care. Like, at the end of the day, we're gonna do the same show regardless. This is definitely like a one-off. So, but
okay. I may be overreading this. This doesn't. I don't think he necessarily means that this is the only time he's going to have DSP on the show. I think he's just talking about the interview in general. Okay, I mean, fair enough. But then again, if the attendance is high, if the money's there, we'll see. Because you can't go through who DSP, who Darksydephil, who Phil Brunel is in just one interview. It just doesn't happen. You know what I'm saying? It's just not possible. So, in a lot of his lore, as I use in my example with Vampire the Masquerade, a lot of his lore bleeds into itself, or bleeds into other shit. So, I don't know, whatever. But you get my drift.
Yes. Pizza says, but will we have a tips goal? Yeah. Tip is, how about let's be decent people. How's that? There's the big tip.
Hopefully you told DSP that before he shows up.
Is not about the gimmick. No, I'm not about the gimmick. I was about the gimmick when I was a kid. I'm a 41-year-old man right now with 2 kids, a wife, and a mortgage. Like, I don't have time for stupid gimmicks. So. Oh, Crash Test Goof says, yes, but in an honest sense of curiosity, you have an education in journalism. I thought it might be a genuinely interesting interview. In other words, I see it as a litmus test of your journalism. Oh, thanks. I mean, look, there's a reason why I didn't go into journalism. Because it sucks, right? Do you see, like, I have little to no respect for any sort of reporter out there right now. It's all just bullshit. Zero, like, come on. When was the last time you saw anything on the news that you were like, oh, that's legit? Like, it's all just painted stories. It's all just stories and bullshit. That's all it is. It's
not all of it. Do they tell you everything that happens with a particular situation or whatnot? No, of course not. And you have to dig deep if you want to find it. You have to invest time into doing so. But that's the reason why the news is structured the way it is. It's structured to give you this little bit in this small period of time and then keep it pushing and whatnot. Now, how you feel about that or how you're meant to react to it is completely and utterly up to whatever agenda that you're trying to push. But you can't necessarily say that all news is bullshit. You really can't do that. To be honest, it's not all on the up and up, but it's not all a lie either.
The thing that turned me away.
But not to say that I'm accusing him of saying that, because that's not the case. I doubt he believes that, nor do I believe that's exactly what he's trying to say.
From journalism was when you look at the business of journalism. I was taught this 20 years ago when I was getting out of school, and it stands true today, right? And it's been this way since the dawn of time. If it bleeds, it leads. That is the ultimate goal Why do we not see happy news on your nightly newscast? Because people won't watch happy news. Right?
Well, the reason why you don't see happy news on the news at night is because you get all of that during the day. It's what gets you up and out of bed. It's what gets you in your car. It's what gets you to work or school or whatever the case may be. There's a reason why it's done like that. The news is structured. Okay, I don't need to tell people this because people already know this. The news is structured the way it is for a reason, to be honest. If you want to hear positive stories, if you want to see shit about, whatever school is doing this for such and such kids, whatever park is being opened up, if you want to see all of that stuff, that's the morning news. Afternoon news, get into more of your finances, you get more into traffic, you get into some of the drama that may be going on, give or take whatever the scenario is, and then at night, it's the horrible truth of what the fuck is going on in society. It gives you something to think about before you go to bed. You know what I'm saying? It helps you prioritize what's important to you. Your family, you know what I'm saying? Your kids, your job, things that you need to keep pushing forward so you can make it to the next day and so on and so forth. It's been structured like that. It's done like that for a reason. So this whole thing about fuck journalism because it bleeds, it leads, you're not going to change a system that's been in place long before you and be there long after you. That's just what it is. You doing this interview with Darksydephil falls into that same category. You're already proving your own point. Are people going to be here for the great gaming news and for maybe the compelling discussions about politics and whatever else is going on to the internet? Are they going to be there for this? Are they going to stick around for this? Or are they going to show up to get this pig cut up and see how he squeals? So the very thing that you're essentially entertaining, right? If it bleeds, it leads scenario. The thing that you are entertaining that you're hoping to not only draw people in, but to keep them around is the very thing that you allegedly hate. Then why even do it? Then why do the interview then? Because you need it. This is how society works. And I understand that I guess I kind of understand what your pushback and everything of it is, but this is how it works. This is how the game is played. It is what it is. You can choose not to interact with it if that's the case. You can choose to go another angle with it. But there are more lolcows out here to be broken down, if you will, than your average person. And even with your average people or people that are not identified as lolcows or whatever, boy, you dig back long enough and you might find some silly shit. Does that make them lolcows? No. Does it bring up an interesting conversation on, hey, would you like to speak on this particular scenario here? Are you going to pass up that opportunity? I don't know, just something to think about. Just something to think about. This is how it works. This is how it works. DSP says he's not begging, it's advertising. DSP says it's not begging, it's business. You're going to cut this pig up, and this is advertising. It is what it is. If not, don't do it. If not, don't do it.
For that. People like car wrecks. I don't want to be around all that shit. So there's a reason why I went away from it. So just questions and sensations.
But yet you're right back at it. Would you think? You thought society was going to get better? You're coming right back to the same scenario you left. It's probably far worse, to be honest. Especially if we're talking about gaming. Like, there is a level of politics within every community. Like, okay, like even amongst detractors, trolls, haters, and critics, there's politics, right? People like certain people. People want to stand behind that. People are willing to fight for that. People are willing to change other people's narratives on the content creators that they like and dislike, so more people are on their side. That's just politics. That's how that works. You're going to find that in any community that you interact with. It is what it is. And gaming in particular has all kinds of bullshit linked up to it. There's no way to you can try to approach it from a non-biased standpoint, but eventually everybody has to pick a side sooner than later. Sooner than later. Some people can hold out or whatever, but sooner than later you have to pick a side. Like, for example, look at Boogie, for example. Boogie's a fence sitter, but he does lean to one side or the other, depending on what the topic is. He fence sits because he wants people to believe that he can be objective. And he's also just trying to bleed both sides. You also try to see Monday Matt do that, and it just came out to be boring. If Matt picks a side, he'll fight for that to the death. Even if he doesn't really believe in it. If it bleeds, it leads, and if it'll pay him, he'll keep doing it. That's just how the scenario works. That's how it all plays out. It's not fair. It may not be right, but it is what it is.
That's right. That's right. So. House says, do journalism classes even teach investigative reporting anymore? Or is it all about how to control people's minds and stuff? Man, I don't know. It's I don't know, because I haven't been in a class in, a couple decades, right? The idea of like testing my journalism skills, like, this is like me going into a prize fight without training for the last 2 decades. It's like, whatever, But wait a second. Okay, I see what you're saying, but like, you're the one who says you have the background in journalism, but you never went into journalism because you don't like it. You feel like you're doing this Barbara Walters type interview, and you're more concerned about people not liking it than liking it, despite the fact that if you could cure cancer and, develop clean energy methods and whatever, like, you're not, if you're unprepared, that's kind of falls on you, but you're the one who came out and said you had a background in journalism. When people initially I talked about this in the previous broadcast, I think. When people, were kind of expressing their doubts when this thing was first announced, Craig was the one who came out and said, hey, I have a background in journalism. You were the one who put that out there. So, you're the one who've chosen this hill to die on if shit goes south. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just do the fucking interview and whatever happens, happens. But you're the one who put yourself out there. Excuse me. That you have a background in journalism, and now you're saying that you feel unprepared. Okay, so why bring up the journalism part in the first place? What was the point? There's a bunch of people on YouTube who go over different stories about different shit, and none of them have any experience in journalism as far as I've seen, and let alone what they've admitted, and they've done a pretty bang up job. You put that emphasis out there to give yourself more credibility. Now you're having a hard time dealing with the pressure that something like that entails. I don't know. This is not necessarily helping my expectations of this, but we'll see. And by the way, as Mr. Brockrock says, I mean, do they even require a journalism degree anymore? Hell no. No. So then there's like comments like this. It says, Vichy's Craig's journalism degree is the same place as Phil's business degree. Seems as useful as well. Well, it just may be, except I have not been a journalist for 20 years. So
that's right. DSP hasn't been a businessman ever. So, I mean, the only difference between the two is you went to school for journalism and you never used it. DSP went to school for business and tried to, you're kind of doing it now. He tried to present himself as a businessman and he failed at it miserably. You have tried to present yourself as a journalist and you haven't failed yet, but you're not exactly inspiring a lot of confidence at least at this particular point. But yeah, DSP definitely failed in business. He definitely failed. When you have to take out business loans, when you have to take out not even just the running the credit card shit up, because that's fucking hilarious. Running up 14 lines of credit to keep a fucking to keep a YouTube channel functioning, and not even a YouTube channel that has over 1 million subs, right? That didn't even have 200,000 subs at that time. Anyway, whatever. But you had to take out business loans to keep a YouTube channel afloat, and didn't invest anything into the business. It was solely done to maintain a lifestyle. Holy shit. One of the biggest failures in business ever. Philip Paul Burnell.
So. Mike says, it's your job to grill the guests because some people are asking / pushing for it. Or should it be like any other guest that comes on the show and talk more about how they're doing as if they wish to talk about? So be it. But the show should be an inviting place, as we're all flawed human beings at the end, right? Right. So, like, we have a lot of people coming on the show soon. A lot of people coming on Side Scrollers, and I said, feels like one show. Like when I talked to Phil on Thursday, it'll be the first time I've actually spoken to him in well over a decade, right? Well over a decade. I don't know, 13 years. I don't know how long it's been. He says SGC 2013. I don't recall, but whatever.
So back to what I was saying. These guys have not spoken to each other in better part of a decade. Craig is saying 13 years. DSP brings up an event. Craig don't even fucking remember. Craig doesn't even fucking remember. And guess what? Craig doesn't have to. You don't have to remember the random, smelly, fucking ass clown from X amount of years ago who turned out to be the biggest failure that people thought he was going to be. You don't have to remember that shit. But if that idiot has done everything in his power to make himself infamous, then Jesus Christ, you kind of want to know about this. You kind of want to understand a little bit more about his infamy. You want to understand a little bit more about why he did what he did. He needs to be grilled. Do you handle every person the same when it comes to an interview? No, you can't, because everybody's different. But when you have someone who is a known pathological liar, let me express this in a way that, of all of DSP's addictions, and he has a lot, he's addicted to lying. He's addicted to lying. It's the equivalent of him saying his daily prayer, if you will. And trust me when I say this, DSP prays to himself, for himself. It's all he's probably ever done. There is nothing positive about anything DSP has ever done in his fucking life. You want to talk about YouTube? Let's talk about YouTube. He has not contributed anything to YouTube except being a stepping stone for other content creators to either find a voice, express their talent. Essentially, that's it, to be honest. Because a few of the people who went further than that looked too deep into the abyss, and you saw what happened after that. That's essentially it. He's a stepping stone. And he's a stepping stone. He's a lolcow because he's constantly producing milk. No one's saying it's good milk, but people do what they can with it. He's never done a goddamn thing positive in his time on YouTube. Even if you wanted to give him the benefit of, I'll pick a random one. Let's say Sopa and Pippa, right? Let's say that. Even then, when I don't know if the book ever got written or if it did or whatever, the one time that he could have gotten recognition for that, he chose not to. Now, one could say, oh, he tried to be the anonymous hero. He tried to be amicable about it. He wanted other people want to get the credit and get the notoriety if they even got anything out of it. He just wanted that. He just felt like he was a concerned citizen and did his part. If you want to buy into that bullshit, great. That's fine. The real reason why he didn't tie his name to that shit is because if something ever happened later on down the line, and there was a lot of fuckery that was involved in it, he didn't want to be tied to it. Or if any of those other content creators or anybody else who spoke up about SnortBucks, at least against it, if any of them came out later on as pedos or rapists or whatever nonsense, he didn't want his name tied to it. That's the reason why DSP never had himself really associated with it, unless he outside of what he said. He didn't want it. He didn't want anything that would lock him down in print, because he don't know those other people that were involved, and if something happens and made them look bad, he didn't want that falling on him. It was an interesting form of self-preservation. Well, if that's the case, then what's the point of collaborating with people? Well, if you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, that's one of the reasons why he never collaborated with anybody. He didn't want to share the spotlight with anybody. He didn't want anybody outshining him. And then if later on down the line, if some fuckery happened and it makes them look bad, they can never go back and say, oh, well, DSP collaborated with him. Uh-oh, I guess we just throw two peas in the pod. And I've been thinking about that a lot lately, on why he wasn't really collaborating with anybody. And I'm thinking, I don't know for sure, obviously this is me just, it's not exactly a Theo theory, but that's just my thought process. My thinking is, outside of him not wanting to share the spotlight, which we all know that, he was trying to safeguard himself. You could even say, in a weird sort of way, he was trying to future-proof himself from people. You know what I mean? Because DSP don't trust people. And if you look at DSP and his behavior, you can't trust him. You can't trust anything he says. You can't trust anything that he does. And truth be told, it's like that with most lolcows. Most lolcows lie for the dumbest shit. About the dumbest shit. It's insane. Wings, for example, gets caught up in lies all the fucking time. Shit that he's harped on about for years and whatnot. Eventually he gets exposed on shit. So for some of you who ask, why do all these Wings trolls go back and comb through all of that shit? For proof. For proof. Because if you, on a long enough timeline, you can catch Wings on some bullshit. On a long enough timeline, you can catch Rich on some bullshit. You can catch Monday Matt on some bullshit. Anybody who you can consider a lolcow, you can catch on some dumb shit. Given enough time.
So, it'll be like, hey, what have you been up to? Hey, Trusty. Hey, Army says, wouldn't you agree that you probably need a different approach to interviewing different people? Not every person is the same, nor do they have the same baggage. I think everybody has baggage. It's a matter of how much of a microscope you want to put on people. Everybody's fucked up, right? Just not everybody's fucked up publicly.
Fair enough. Right? That's absolutely fair. Everybody has baggage. Everybody has problems. Everybody has issues. Everybody has said or done some dumb shit at one time or another, whatever. The question is that shit on the internet? The question is it on the internet that someone could try to tie you to it? If not, if you've publicly put yourself out there, and in DSP's situation or perspective, for profit, there's a lot to fucking put under a microscope. There's a lot to criticize you over. Same thing with Wings, right? Same thing with any lolcow. There's a lot of stuff that you can... There's a lot to say because they put themselves out there for whatever, mainly for profit. Which is really one of the reasons why people come down on DSP the way they did. I understand this narrative where, oh, you guys, the Detractor trolls, haters, and critics, they're all jealous. You can't have what he has, and you guys do all this shit out of spite and whatever. Okay, I guess. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense when the dude begs for a living. He has no status on the internet outside of him being a lolcow, and he's infamous. Who's going to be jealous of that? The dude tells you he can't pay his bills unless you guys give him money. He has no earning power or earning potential outside of begging. The dude can't even pull 1 million subs a month anymore. Like, the dude doesn't want to do sponsorships and endorsements because supposedly he's not a sellout. Even though he cries in the next Snort about how he can't get sponsorships and endorsements because the Detractor, trolls, haters, and critics fucked him over. The dude has literally nothing outside of a few people who give him money and the few pennies he can get off ad revenue. The dude's got nothing. He don't own his house. I don't even know if he owns his car. But he damn sure and he barely owns the shit that's in his house. On top of God knows what kind of damages and what kind of problems that he has in his house at current. Which the biggest one is that downstairs bathroom, the toilet in particular. That's all fucked up. Which means that the piping and the plumbing linked to that toilet is all fucked up. And it's been like that for years. For years it's been like that. And he won't pay, he literally won't spend money to fix it. This is a house that he quote unquote owns. Or it's his. He doesn't own it, but he currently lives in it. He currently occupies it, I should say. Because I can't say I can't say in good faith that DSP lives. He merely exists. He merely occupies space, for Christ's sake. But he's not willing to fix his own. You got a broken bathroom. You got a broken toilet in the bathroom. Fix that bitch. He won't do it because, oh, I can sidestep that and I can just use the one upstairs. That's not a good reason to just leave it there. Oh, well, I don't have enough money to do it. If you actually let your money accumulate instead of spending it the moment it comes in, you would. And even then, that's a contradiction because he's had fundraising events and whatever the fuck and marathon events where he would have at least a decent amount of money to put up to have a plumber come in and actually take a look at it and possibly even fix it. But he won't do it because it's not a priority to him. It gives him another tone that he can put into the Gouty gospel so he can use the beg later on down the line. So what the fuck is there to be envious about or jealous of? He's in an industry that he is universally hated. Even the people who show him pity eventually decide to distance themselves from him or will not fully commit to him because they know what comes with that. He has a cat that barely likes him. He has another cat who kind of just ignores him, to be honest, while she's playing whatever the fuck she's playing and shit. He has two parents that care about him, obviously, but he's also a failure to them. And he has no friends or confidants to really speak of. The guy has nothing. The reflection... Sorry, let me reword this. The way DSP presents himself to you on stream each and every day is a reflection of how his life is. So you know how I like to say, tell me what your life's like? Look at him. And then think about all the things that he's begged for and all the problems that he says he has. And you know exactly what his life is like. He's barely holding himself together. He's barely juggling everything around him. And it's all his own fault. And he thinks one big payday is going to fix it, but it won't. The addiction will kick in, and he will squander it just as quickly as he got it. And that's how he's always going to be. That's how he's always been. And it's funny that he makes less and less money, but yet his spending is ramping up. Just something to think about.
When you go on social media, I guarantee I could pick any social media profile, literally any social media profile, assuming they're not a bot, a real person, and you could absolutely make them cry by picking and prodding and finding everything about it. Like, I get it. So yeah, man. She says, will you be doing a little more research? Bishi, how do you know I haven't done research? This has been a full fucking time job. Like, I've literally lost sleep over this interview, right? I've done all the research.
Okay. Actually, hold on a second. Okay. And all the time that I've done Darksydephil content, I've done a lot. Easily thousands of hours and shit. More than I'm willing to admit. To be honest. I have never lost no sleep over DSP. Never once. Never lost a wink of sleep. So yet again, if we're not a journalist, why are we putting such a large expectation on ourselves? If we don't care whether it is 100 people or 500 people, 100 people or 5 people watching us, why the fuck are we, 41 years old, not that his age means anything, but why are we, as a grown adult with a house, a wife, 2 kids, and a mortgage, losing sleep over Darksydephil's dumbass? I'm just saying. I am just saying. Have I been angry at Darksydephil? Or at least the shit that he said and done? Absolutely. And I'd be the first one to admit it. I have not lost no sleep over him. Because I don't go to sleep mad. That's just something that you just can't do. You can't go to bed upset. I understand that people do, but I don't. I don't go to bed mad. If you gotta fucking take a walk, if you fucking have to go, if you have to do something to physically get that exertion out, big ups to Milf and Cookies. I love you, baby. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it takes, do it. Don't go to bed angry. And don't lose sleep over dumb shit. Which we all lose sleep over dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Life is life, and life comes at you fast. But Jesus Christ, don't lose sleep over DSP. Don't do that shit.
All of it. Peachy says, I said before inviting him. No. We had AJ on. We had AJ on today. I had no idea who AJ was before he came on the show today. But he's a great guy. Right? Yeah. I mean, no. Not everybody I'm going to research before they come on the show.
Wait, what? Okay, first things first. What I mean research, right? At least my definition is I want to know a little bit about the person that I'm talking to before they pop up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, like, as you guys know, if you followed me for enough years and shit, I want the Snort Report to kind of turn into to be an actual live broadcast. Like, you know what I'm saying? 4 or 5 video format, as we already do for the videos. Same thing in a live stream format. And then, you know what I'm saying, people can... I'm still wrestling with the idea of having people after each video within the broadcast have maybe 1 or 2 people call in and give me their ideas or whatever while still going through the chat, see what they say, or just leaving it for the end of the show. I shouldn't be letting the cat out of the bag on that, but you know what I mean. So it is what it is. I'll get there eventually. Whereas some of the members of GTG Network and Productions are like, nah, save it for the end of the show. It'll be easier that way and whatnot. And it'll allow people to kind of formulate their thoughts later on down the line, which makes a lot of sense. We'll see how that plays out. But if I'm interviewing somebody, I'd like to know a little bit about them. Like, for example, if they have a YouTube channel, if they do something online, I want to know a little bit about what they do online. Like, okay, you do videos, right? Cool. What do you do videos of? Or if you stream, what do you stream of? Like basic shit. Like, just basic shit so I have something to lead into the conversation. And more importantly, I have something to introduce to the audience as a whole. Yeah, you can just have random people come up that you choose to interview, but having them coming onto your show or your podcast or whatever, like a guest appearance, 5-10 minutes and they're gone, that's a little different than you actually sitting down and having someone talk to you for a longer duration of time. You want to know a little bit about them. Not I don't need to know your personal life, but if you have a presence online, I'd like to know a little bit about it. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me.
No. Like, you think I'm going to go research James? I have a 17-year relationship with James Rolfe. Like, I don't need to research James. Okay,
do you have a 17-year long relationship with AJ? No, you said you don't even know the guy, but you said he was a good guy and you had a good time. So I'm nitpicking. I'm nitpicking, but that's not a very good example. Like, okay, you know, I know James for 17 years. Okay, well, you have no reason to research him. You know what I'm saying? Because you know him. But like, okay, let me give you an example. I'll play off your example. That's like James the Lesser. Pick up to James the Lesser. I've known James the Lesser since, fucking A, man. I've known James the Lesser since like my rookie year as a Detractor. So that's like 2017. I'll even go as far. I couldn't even say early 2018, but I want to say like 2017, maybe. 2017, at least 2018. So I've known James. I've spoken to him. I've collabed with the guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't need to do research on him. I know him. So if like, you know what I'm saying? So I get that part. But if it's like, excuse me, somebody that I don't know. There's a lot of people I don't know. Fuck. I don't know. Let's say, fucking A, bruh. Okay, let's go out of. Let's step out of the Detractor circles for a minute. There's a lot of people I don't know in the Detractor circles, but let's step out of that for a minute, for the sake of argument. Okay, let's go to something I give a shit about. Call of Duty. Let's say let's say Bad Boy Beeman. Like, I watch a lot of his videos. I've probably watched all of them over his 2 channels, but I don't know him. Like, you know what I'm saying, per se. Like, I know of him, and I know like some of his content or whatever. He's like one of the first, if not the first, like, original hacker hunter on YouTube, or at least he's one of them. So I know of his content. So I don't need to necessarily. So I want to do a little research to find out how he got started. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some of his big accomplishments or whatever. That's like an hour's worth of work, if that. It's not hard to find, but I'd like to know a little bit about him. You know what I'm saying? I watch a lot of his content. I can start a conversation with him, but I'd like to just get a little bit of how he got started or whatever the case may be. And if I can't find that itself, that's certainly something that I'll ask him about before, you know, getting him on the show or whatever. So I have something to lead into. But tomato, yet again.
I mean, she says, pretty responsible stuff to just platform people you have no idea about. It's just, Travis says, that's his job. That is exactly that is exactly what Travis's job is. So well, I know, like, all you look, here's the reality of it, right? Like,
well, I gotta admit, up to this particular point, I sense vulnerability. I sense some vulnerability. To be honest with you, I'm not saying that. Like I said, I have no idea how this is gonna pan out, but I sense some vulnerability. Which is not to say that that's a bad thing. To be honest with you, it proves that he's human. I don't know. I don't know. It's supposed to be an interview, but it's like we're struggling with it. It's kind of, not struggling. Let's reword this. DSP was originally supposed to come on to just be a guest on the show, if you will, just to, you know, just another person on the panel, if you will. And now it's being turned into an actual interview, and it seems like Craig is kind of struggling with that. Now, I don't know Craig as a person or nothing like that. This could all be a bluff. He could be holding his cards close to his chest. I don't know. But, I don't know. I'm sensing a lot of vulnerability. A little bit of trepidation. We'll see. Like I said, we'll see.
no matter how the interview goes on Thursday, no matter how it goes, whether he answers every question and everyone will be like, oh, that's reasonable, or I understand that, or he really owned up to that, or whatever, right? No matter how much I press, unless Phil leaves crying and rage quits, there are people who be like, you threw softballs the entire time. It's like, dude, come on. I said this before. I'm a fair interviewer to me. I'm a fair interviewer to the person I'm interviewing. I'm a fair interviewer to the audience that's watching.
Okay, that's fair. No pun intended. But being a fair interviewer, being a fair person or whatever, is also trying to find the truth, right? You don't want this guy lying to you for an hour or 2 hours straight, do you? You don't want your audience to feel like they were deceived or their time was wasted, right? You're fighting on behalf of your community. DSP is I want to say he's a usurper. It's an interloper. Interloper sounds probably best, but let's say he's a usurper. Let's say that. He's definitely fucking plague. Goddamn plague. Fucking pestilence. Anyway, he is, DSP is a usurper. He is there to take from you. Whether you look at it that way or not is completely up to you, but he's there to take from you. You have something that he has. Notoriety and a platform. Even though the platform is smaller than his, it is a clean slate. And that's what DSP needs. He needs a clean slate. He needs someone that can help give him a clean bill of health. He is there to take your time and occupy your space and to manipulate you and your audience to get his way so he can have his way, so he can make his way. Now, you may not see it that way because that's being overly aggressive. I'm an aggressive person. But you should also consider that, hey, I can't trust everything this person's going to say to me. Because if you're going to treat his namesayers the way you've allegedly wanted to treat them, like, hey, you're anonymous, I can't take anything that what you've said to heart because I don't know who you are or whatever, you have to assume that the person that's in front of you knows the snout, if you will, is possibly lying to you about some of the stuff that he's going to say. If you don't have at least some of that information to be able to confront that, then you're going to be a victim. Which by proxy, your audience is going to be a victim. And despite some of the nonsense that goes on amongst detractors, trolls, haters, and critics, they don't really want to see other people get hurt or be lied to or have their time wasted. It's a redeemable quality. Now, I can understand that you see that as work or maybe even unnecessary work. But it's done for a reason. And you've taken some consideration to it if you've lost sleep over this doing your quote-unquote research. And I don't mean to discredit him by saying quote-unquote, but you know what I mean. You really have no idea what you're walking into. It's a literal fucking minefield. But I wish you luck nonetheless.
That's been way since the start. So Eric says,
but
we ever do an interview?
Fair is protecting the home front first. That's all I'm saying.
With Brandon Jones from Game Trailers and Easy Allies. I would love that. Brandon, thank you very much. Or Eric, thank you very much. And you guys are obsessed. It's crazy. Like you guys this is your Super Bowl. That's the one thing that I've learned. This is your Super Bowl. And you guys will be watching it like the Super Bowl, overanalyzing the quarterback passes, and they should run the ball.
Well, yeah, you can use sports as the analogy, and it's a good analogy to say at the very fucking least. But take it as any show, and let's use anime for example. Take it as any type of anime, right? Let's go ahead and go with one of DSP's favorites. Let's say Dragon Ball. Actually, I can go even better than that. Let's go ahead and say, because I don't want to link Dragon Ball to DSP. Fuck that. Even though Detractor Ball Z is and Detractor Ball Super is pretty dope. Anyway, big ups to Tevin. Praise be. Let's say Rick and Morty. Let's say Rick and Morty because Phil's a fan of that shit. People overanalyze the fuck out of that online. Not even overanalyze. People analyze the shit out of it. And there are entire communities around that. There is actually, most people may not know this, but there is actually you have the Rick and Morty community, and then you have two other communities who don't get along with each other, which is the most bizarre shit to me. But they do agree that a lot of the storytelling in Rick and Morty contradicts itself from season to season. And they are online, I'm going to say they're bickering, with actual Rick and Morty fans all the fucking time. Now, within the Rick and Morty community, you have these 400k IQ individuals who think that they completely and utterly understand everything about Rick and Morty and all the references and all the big brain jokes, and they get all of the, they get all of that, and they can essentially explain away all criticisms. And then those groups bicker all the fucking time over what you would consider trivial or whatever the case may be. But that's what kept the show, or what still keeps the show, I should say, going, is people being invested in it. So when you look at lolcows and you look at the community behind them, this whole nonsense, and I think it's nonsense, to say that, that these people who follow these lolcows are fans. Some of them may have started off as fans, but they're certainly not fans now. They're more invested in the people who present them the content. Because you can't, and this is almost universal when it comes to lolcows, you can't interact with the lolcow directly. Because he or she will either ban you or block you or whatever the case may be. That's what led up to the rise of detractors in the first place. To be honest with you, oh boy. That's what led to the rise of detractors in the first place. Matter of fact, a little bit of lore, and you can ask Tevin, because this is Tevin's lore. The reason why Tevin started making videos on this fucking asshole is it was the only way he can interact with the community. Like, because he couldn't go under his videos, and he couldn't respond to him on Twitter and whatnot. So making a video was the only way to essentially speak on the problem that he saw. And Tevin admitted that he was able to have a conversation with Phil once. I'm sure it was like an email exchange or something like that, and they had a decent conversation, right, or something along those lines. But then after that, DSP turned into a complete and utter asshole. And keep in mind, Tevin didn't make his first video to be a detractor or to even try to shit on Phil. He was trying to point out something that Phil was doing that wasn't entertaining to watch as a viewer. He was literally trying to help him. And then it eventually evolved into everything that it evolved into. So that's, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, you can ask Tevin. I'm sure I'm missing some type of details there. I'm missing some type of details there. I'm pretty sure it's on Tevin's second channel. It's been a while since I've seen that video, but I've watched that video a couple of times, to be honest with you. It's about was it Dark Souls, or was it Demon Souls? It was one of those Dark Soul games that kind of kicked all this off. And like Tevin's sitting on a couch and he's kind of recording and he's talking about the scenario, whatever. The video has to be less than like 20 minutes, something like that. But most people might actually be able to find it. If I find it, I'll link it down in the description. But he started off as genuinely trying to help Phil. It wasn't meant to be what it eventually turned out to be. So, just to give some context to this shit, like, I'm telling you, DSP has done everything in his power to turn people against him, and over nothing. Over nothing. And like I said, it's your heart, even amongst the detractors who are willing to defend Phil at times, or whatever, they're still not fans. I understand the human aspect that you just don't want to dunk on DSP, right? Like, you have that was like LSB a long time ago, had said that that DSP is actually like decent at Street Fighter, he's good, or I think he even said he was like above average. I can't necessarily remember, and it's no big deal now, but I know I did a video about it though. But whether he was giving DSP the benefit of the doubt, or he really believed it, or whatever the case may be, that doesn't make LSB a fan. He looked at DSP, who's done something for a really long time, and he's like, and if LSB doesn't play video games, or doesn't play fighting games, I should say, he would come to that conclusion that, hey, he has to be at least above average given how long he does it, and he seems to be competent, or whatever the case may be. Now, if LSB watched a lot of that footage before he made that statement, like if he watched a lot of that Super Turbo footage before he made that statement, he would have realized, okay, he's average at best. Because that's literally what DSP is. He is average at best. I don't care how long he's been doing it. He's average at best. There's a reason why he ducks people. There's a reason why he won't get on these other platforms to try to prove that if he's as good as he says he is. Because he knows he isn't. He knows he isn't. If he's running away from your Evil AJs, your Goji Tanks, your Jose's, if he's running away from them, right? And these guys are, and like I said, you know what I'm saying, I love for all of them. You know, I'm not saying anything about anything, right? You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is these guys don't run around saying they're pro players, right? But if he's running away from them, then what makes you think he's going to get up there with the upper echelon of players who still play Super Turbo, who've been grinding it for all these years and not just playing these shitty ports that keep coming out? What do you think he's going to do against those guys when he gets bodied? And please believe he will get bodied. Because he's using the same mediocre tricks in Super Turbo that he used back in the early 2000s. He hasn't evolved as a player. Nor has he evolved as a person. Just something to think about. But the point being is that that whole argument that people bring up is that a lot of the people who follow lolcows are fans is not the case. They may be fans of their antics, right? But I would say they're probably more fans of the people who present the antics to them. Because like I said, the lolcows have but the lolcows cut those people off. So those people had to find somewhere else to express their opinions. If not, they would be able to collect all that revenue and take the criticism that comes with it. And they clearly can't. But what are you gonna do?
And this should have been asked. Like, it's crazy. Like, this is your Super Bowl. I get it. I understand this is important to you guys. I get it. I am your beacon, your shining light.
I don't know if I'd go that far. Actually, I wouldn't even go that far at all. I wouldn't go that far at all. Certainly. Like I said, if this pans out, this is going to be a pretty big moment. This is going to be a pretty big moment in the Detractor verse, and obviously the Gouty universe and everything that comes with it. Would I say that you're a beacon of light, though? I wouldn't say that about anybody. I wouldn't say that about Moist Critical. I wouldn't have said that about anybody who got that interview. It would be entertaining, like if someone like, excuse me, Nick Rekieta, Medicare, Mutahar maybe, Moist Critical maybe. It might have been entertaining if those guys got that interview and whatnot. But then again, all of them have some type of exposure to DSP and some of his antics or whatever. You don't. You're coming in literally at the ground level. And that doesn't mean that you can't make a name for yourself. It just means that you don't have enough exposure that allows me to have confidence in what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? At least not yet. But yet again, I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? I could be wrong. But I wouldn't put you up there. I wouldn't put you up on that pedestal, say that you're a beacon or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? You caught the interview that no one has had in a very long time. And the last person who had it, and quote me, because I've said this before, but quote me on this. The Quartering did not give a fuck about that DSP interview. He only took it, and he only did it because he was trying to get over on Review Tech USA, or on Rich from Review Tech USA. That's the only reason why. Rich has been hounding DSP for that interview for ages, and Jeremy and fucking Rich don't like each other and whatnot. Don't let them try to play that fake bullshit with you on Twitter. Them guys do not like each other for a good fucking reason, because them guys got history. Anyway, they don't like each other. Jeremy got it just so he could get over. Quarter Pounder literally got over on Rich because he could. And that was it. That's why he didn't give fuck all about that interview. Because if that interview really meant something to him, he wouldn't have done it while he was sick. He could have easily had DSP on the lore or on the end of his lore, I should say, for a week or two, and then come back fresh. Jeremy did not give a shit about that interview. And truth be told, he had no reason to. So I don't blame him.
God. Oh my God. Pizza says, Jesus, talk about inflated sense of self-importance. No, you really aren't. Talk to my Twitter feed, dude. It's been full for 2 weeks. Steven says, a DSP hasn't been in an interview.
I gotta say, that was a pretty fair way of trying to handle that, being that Piece of Peace has a lot of Piece of Peace's word carries. To be honest with you, you handled that pretty well. To be honest with you. So you at least know who to push back on and who not to. I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
2019, that's why. Like I said, I will just do my best. I'm going to do my best. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to do my best. So, KB says, whatever happens, it's okay. This was thrust upon you, and that doesn't seem fair. Right. Well, and then people are like, you asked for this. No, I didn't. I didn't ask for this. But I'm going to do it, and it's going to be fine, man.
I mean, doing your research would have helped you. You would have understood what this is. And yet again, going back to my previous point, the only reason why there was a lot of attention around this is because the last person didn't give a fuck and did it to get over on somebody else. And then any other time after that were all fluff pieces, except for this one mythical piece of lore that most people don't talk about anymore. Is there was one guy who was trying to get an interview with DSP, and the DSP asked for like between $600 and like $800 to do the interview, and they were like, justify that. Help me with that. What the hell do you need $600 to $800 for? Oh, well, that'd be a full day of streaming, or a full day of work, and that's what that would be. That's his price to cover it, which is ridiculous. Clearly,
that'd be good. Borak says, be sure to ask him about Derek. Who's Derek? I haven't done my research. I know, Dan. I get it. Creepy shit. I get it. I get it. But am I doing an interview about Phil, or am I doing an interview about his fans? Are they one and the same? That's good. Guess you find out.
That's actually a pretty fair point. Am I doing an interview about Phil, or am I doing a Phil about his fans? Are they one in the same? That is fair. Do we judge DSP for the actions of his audience? Or do we blame the actions of DSP's audience on Darksydephil? That is a very, very fair question. I think it's a bit of both. I think it's a bit of both. I'll have to ponder that further.
I know. Dan, I get it. Creepy shit. I get it. I get it. But am I doing an interview about Phil, or am I doing an interview about his fans? Are they one and the same? That's good. Guess you find out. But yeah.
Okay, I excuse me. I'm still going to think about that further, but I will say, to some degree, you are the tribe that you attract. You are the tribe that you attract. At least to some degree.
Oh my goodness. Jay says, I don't know who this guy is. Well, that's the thing. The vast majority of the internet doesn't. You know, so Lady says, I watch for you in the Austin community. I could care less about DSP. The only reason I know about him is because Reviewtech USA can't stop talking about him. It's weird, man. And I'll talk about this on Thursday, but he is easily the most polarizing. And I'm not even say it's like polarizing. It only goes one way with him. Like, everybody hates Phil. It's like that show, Everybody Hates Chris. Like, it's a surely somebody has made that the intro to Everybody Hates Chris. Surely somebody's made
it's not just like I said. At least most people who say they hate him, they don't hate him. Trust me, you don't hate him. If you hated him, you would do something about him. And that's beyond doing Detractor content. We won't talk about that. But you don't hate him. DSP is a pretty good example of a waste of fucking opportunity. Not talent, because he doesn't have any talent. He's borrowed and or stolen from or emulated from everybody and everybody who was somebody at one time or another. But he's been given some pretty good opportunities, and he squandered them because he couldn't see it. He couldn't see those opportunities for what they were. He was too worried about what was already in his hooves, which was already too much for him to handle already, to be able to see the bigger picture. He could only see what was right in front of his goddamn snout. And yet he had the nerve to go around and talk down to other content creators that were far more talented than him, more successful than him, or had just a better work ethic. And he had the nerve to talk down to those people. And he still do. Like, when he sits there and says, I'm not a shill, I don't take a paycheck from these big corporations, this, that, and the third. Do you know how hard it is to be able to build a relationship with some of these corporations and get into, like, you know, like an ambassador type status, or be able to get, I'm talking beyond affiliate codes and shit like that. I'm talking about in real business conversations with these people where legal contracts are drawn up. Do you know fucking how hard it is to do that? Let's go ahead and cut the shit. Let's talk about DSP when he was over there on Twitch and his little fucking managed partnership. You know what real success is on Twitch? Those people who have an actual contract with Twitch. Like an actual contract. For this many years, for this much money, on top of whatever you get to make off super chats and super, sorry, not super chats, but off of gifted subs, donations and bits or whatever the case may be. We're paying you to come onto our platform, not you coming onto our platform and you can make money off of it. There's a difference. And DSP has never had that. And you want to know why? Because he didn't know how to do that. He didn't know how to get that. He just thought it's dumb luck. Oh, they'll recognize me, that I'm sitting here grinding, doing this 9-to-5 bullshit, and eventually they'll offer me a contract. No, bitch. That's not how that works. You need to have something outside of the platform that you're currently on to warrant that type of value. DSP's never had that. All of his value, all of his rotten eggs, all of his rotten apples, whatever the fuck you want to call it, has always been in one basket. Whether on YouTube with Machinima fucking basically hoof holding him, or on Twitch with Twitch hoof holding him with the managed partnership. He's never had, anything else outside of that. And anything else that he could have obtained was too much work to obtain. It would have required too much. Think about back in the day, for example, Old Lord. He said, oh, well, I'm not like this particular gamer who goes to these magazines and I get myself featured. Or I don't know people at this website and I can't get my videos embedded over there, or whatever the case may be. I depend on you as the audience by word of mouth, spreading the word of, of who I am and the content that I make. And that's why I've been successful. Now, word of mouth is only going to take you so far. You still need to do something on your own. You still need the network on your own. But then when DSP got dropped from Machinima, he's like, well, I never got approached for collaborations, and I don't understand why Machinima wouldn't do that for me. Other Twitch Machinima partners were able to have collaborations, but I couldn't. Why didn't you reach out to other content creators and broker that? It wasn't Machinima's job to do that. It's not their job to do that. That's something that you should strive for on your own. You can't be held for every fucking thing.
Meme of like, everybody hates Phil. Oh my gosh. It was a good show. It was a really good. Scoop says, oh, jeez. Mr. Brockrock says, sorry, Craig, I don't have time to, I don't have time for tracking social media drama. I had to spend my time making the games y'all talk about. I know, Mr. Brockrock. I know, buddy. And I appreciate that, man. Steven says, I don't think you'll make a bad interview, but people will be unpleased no matter what. I know. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to moving on from it. I'm looking forward to our next guest, and I'm looking forward to the Friday show. I'm looking forward to the Wednesday show. I'm looking forward to the Thursday show. I'm looking forward to the next show, and doing my best on every single show. So, there you go.
Like I said, that's all well and good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he stepped into something, or something was presented to him. However you look at it, he stepped into something that's a lot larger than he is, and you have a viewer base. Excuse me. And then you have a viewer base that is heavily invested in it, and it's a thing. It's a thing, and it's like anything else. Like it's like when anybody new steps into a community, right? Like whenever you have a new detractor, like a troll, or a new Wings has a new troll, or there's a new troll in the King Cobra community, or whatever. I think starting off it's kind of easy, but once you start to build a name for yourself, that's when the expectations start to kind of get high. But stick to what you know and do that as best you can, and it'll carry a long way. You know what I'm saying? And clearly, though, too, yet again, the normality of the side scroller community, like their viewer base and what's it called, that's what DSP is targeting. Sorry, I almost said Wings, but that's what DSP is targeting, and it's just what he wants. It's a group of people who know little to nothing about him. And if he can, if he can settle in like a virus, and if he can, spread, if he has a chance to really ferment, to be honest with you, or fester, and if he can pig whistle to the right people that will spread the bullshit around, then it's a win-win, or at least for him anyway. But yet again, it doesn't really matter what community DSP goes to. He would be hard pressed to find any community, I should say, that would be willing, to stand up for him. It would be really, really difficult. Like, you're not going to get, or he's not going to get, I should say. Actually, no, I was correct the first time. We're not going to get, as a collective, we're not going to see another Brightside Viking. I don't think. You know what I'm saying? We're never going to get somebody like that. Someone who was willing to frontline, go and do interviews and shit, gave a bunch of money, who was willing to fight on multiple fronts. Nah, you're never going to see another Brightside Viking, to be honest with you. Whatever you think about Vidal, he was loyal to a fault. I mean, theoretically, he's still loyal because he still gives money occasionally, at least allegedly. But, yeah, you're never going to find another Brightside Viking, ever. But that's not going to stop DSP from trying, to be honest. And you're going to find people like Craig and side-scrollers, they're going to have to kind of pick a side. If not, they're going to end up being collateral damage, which is why DSP wanted Frederick Knudsen of Down the Rabbit Hole. That's why he wants him to do the revise of he wanted to do the revise of the he wanted a part 2 or 2.0 of his Down the Rabbit Hole, which is not going to happen. Frederick's not going to he's not going to put himself into that situation. There's no benefit from it. You know what I'm saying? And I know most of you are probably like, well, isn't there like 6 million views or whatever the case may be, or over that? I don't know. Probably. I guess. But so, I mean, that was over a period of time. And I'm not saying that takes away from the value or validity of that video, because that video is still fantastic. And it aged well. Like, you know what I'm saying? It still holds up. Kind of like like when Secret Limited does the top 10 worst moments or whatever. Like, if you go and watch those, even if you go and watch the very first one, which was, 2015? And I think that was Fred Fucks who did that one. Those things still hold up. They still hold up incredibly well. You know, the 2016 holds up. 2017, holy fuck. Like, I need to actually do that now I think about it. I should start production on that soon. But, the 2017, dude, like, that shit rings bells to this day. To this day, that one rings. You know what? I'm going to start production on that. I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to start production on at least. I'll try to do it by the weekend, I guess. We'll see. Yeah, I'm going to start production on it. I'm going to see. Hopefully, that'll be the next big video that comes out on the Fight Club channel. But that shit rings bells to this very day. A lot of those videos do. A lot of those videos do. So, you can understand why the expectations are so high for this thing. Whether he delivers or not, we'll see. But you can understand why. He's stepped into something that is far deeper than he gave it credit to. Or gave credit to it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was so worried about kind of like his own values and morals, if you will, that he really wasn't thinking about the landscape he was in.
Slyfry says everyone will be pleased with the interview if you take your shirts off. Noted. Alex comes in and says, my favorite irony of all the insanity of you interviewing DSP is the people wanting to cancel you. Cancel me? If you're here at this point in Craig's career, you probably supported this man through other controversies, but suddenly this interview happens, and now you are mad. Wait, people want to cancel me for this? You can only be canceled if you care to be canceled. And do you think I really care? No, man. Look, come on. Oh my god. Yeah, it's like, come on. Think this is the first time people try to cancel me? Come on. Alex says, I agree, Craig. It's real dumb shit. Like, that's news to me. Crash says, Goof says, what? Why would anyone want to cancel you? You have done nothing to be canceled. Right. Oh my god. It's crazy, man. Liquid Carl. I like that there's this name for people who are like this just the Detractor name. Detractor. Is it, like, just for record, is it spelled with a capital D? And do you guys have t-shirts? You guys should sell t-shirts so everybody knows. I'll even make the logo for you. Hold on, let's see. Like, this is what it should look like. Here we go. It should look like this.
Huh. Interesting redirect. Depending on how close you want to look at Craig, and how he was able to acquire the business, and what he did with it afterwards, and supposedly misgivings with former business partners, and if you look a little bit closer at that Pro Jared situation between the disagreement, well, it was the Pro Jared situation, and then people taking sides, and then Pro Jared breaking away from Craig and the company or whatever. There's some interesting tidbits there. Could you say it's enough for him to be canceled for? Probably not. But one could probably make the argument that some of the stuff that was done was kind of questionable. But that's neither here nor there. But the redirected to detractors, and should it be spelled with a capital D? Yes, it should be spelled with a capital D. Yes, it should be spelled with a capital D. Anyway, strange, but yet interesting redirect.
Here you go. There you go. I'm going to... there you go. You could go something like that. You could just like have a little DSP Detractor on it. And you put it on your t-shirts. Oh my god. Okay, if you sell that, once again, 5%. Thanks. Little Warrior says, have a letter D and a picture of a tractor. There you go. Good. Carl says, us detractors have an annual meeting in the woods around campfires to renew our membership. Good, good, good. Evan, wow, that's awesome. Comes in with the $55 super chat. That's amazing, Evan. Thank you. Like, genuinely. It says, what's wrong with interviewing someone who's hated? Seems to make sense. Dahmer got interviewed. Hussein was interviewed. DSP is acceptable, is unacceptable compared. They say some truth. They BS too. Interviews bring to light unknown things and confirm BS. Evan, thank you very much. That is incredibly generous. And what's the old saying that's been pretty popular the last 6 months or so? Sunlight is the best disinfectant. You know, and that's kind of the idea. So I don't know. Like I've interviewed so many people. Yeah, I had a show that's what I did. Well, it wasn't really an interview. It was just more like a conversation. Hey yo, Big Top with the Director Nation says crazy world we live in. But it got a little less crazy for me today as I scored a Razor Ramon Ultimate Edition. It says Chase or Case. What does that mean, Big Top?
Well, that's kind of cool. The Bohemian Grove reference was pretty dope, by the way. Big ups on that. There's nothing wrong with interviewing someone who's hated. It's understanding why they're hated, and then trying to decipher the person or the subject in general, and seeing if they can own up to it, or if they're truthful about it, or if their side of the story comes across as truthful or legitimate or whatever the case may be. The problem is with interacting with Darksydephil, especially if you're someone who's not familiar with Darksydephil on that level, is it really just comes down to the fact that DSP lies so goddamn much. That's really what it is. And he doesn't need much to get a foothold in. That's really what the problem is. And that's what Craig is really... And I think maybe that's the reason why detractors, trolls, haters, and critics put so much pressure on Craig. Because they tried as best they could, at least some of them anyway, to direct him towards the truth as best as possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't say they spoon-fed it to him, but he was given all the resources and stuff that he needed to do so. They didn't want it to... They wanted him to present the hard questions, and him going in knowing that, hey, DSP's more than likely going to lie to you. And this is what he's going to lie about, and here's why he's going to lie about it, and this is all the different times that his story has changed. And it's just a lot of information to take in a very short amount of time. You know what I'm saying? It's a thing. Because whenever you platform somebody, right, unless you decide to take the video down, for whatever reason, when you platform someone, that's there. And that's a representation of you, and I don't think anybody wants to see Craig in a bad light, or anybody from the side scrollers. I just think people are really trying to fight for him to have all the information possible. I think for the most part it comes from a good place, to be honest with you.
Congratulations, that's awesome. Hey yo. But yeah, man, like I want if we're gonna interview people, I want to interview people, and you know, have fun with it. You know. Like, you look at a dude like Joe Rogan, that's what he does now. He sits around and he talks to people. You know, it's more or less a conversation and an interview. That's more or less what he does, you know? And he just has interesting conversations, so.
Which is true. Which he's right. You know what I'm saying? He's absolutely right. Keep in mind, though, too, Joe Rogan has a team of people as well as, to some degree, he does it himself, too. He goes and he's either friends with these people or he has some type of acquaintancy with them. He knows something about them. You know what I'm saying? So having a more conversational type of interview or interaction, if you will, is not something that is out of reach. The problem is you can't have that with a Darksydephil. You can't. You just can't. Lying is an addiction, right, for DSP. And amongst other things, it's a mechanism. It's a defense mechanism. I've said this before, where the truth or anything that could be perceived to be the truth, DSP looks at it as a way that could be harmful to him, towards him. It could show a vulnerability. It could expose him. It could make him look weak, as if he doesn't look weak enough or vulnerable or exposed anyway. It puts him in a situation that he's uncomfortable with, and that's because he's uncomfortable with himself. Like, that's kind of like one of the standing problems with Philip Burnell. He doesn't know who he is as a person, and so that's why he takes on the traits of all of these other people that were around him, who were around him at one time or another, whether essentially emulating the laugh that Panda Lee had or John had, to emulating cadence or different types of speeding patterns or inflictions that other people have, to even mannerisms that other content creators have or whatever, if it fits his narrative. He doesn't know who he is, and truth be told, he don't like who he is. He really don't. And YouTube was the only thing that made him feel like he was worth a damn. You could find that soundbite if you look for it, where he said that YouTube was the only thing that made him feel like he had something meaningful in life. Before YouTube, he felt like he had nothing. And he felt like he was a loser, and he felt like, no one cared about him, and he didn't have a voice, and no one took him seriously. The irony is that in some ways, a lot of that still exists to this very day, and anything that he says is essentially going to be profited on, or is used for other people to profit off of, and he can't do really anything about it, which is kind of funny in a lot in a lot of ways, but it's kind of sad too. It's kind of sad that he can't profit off of his own lies anymore. Like, not even just his own lies, like off his own words, right? Like, it has to be pretty fucking sad that your quote unquote hard work, I'm not even gonna call it hard work because there ain't nothing hard about Phil. It's funny that his work, in air quotes, is profited is used to enrich other people. I was gonna say that other people profit off of it more than he does, but I like the word enriched better. That other people can enrich themselves off of DSP more than DSP can enrich himself. That right there must hurt. And that right there is one of the most amusing aspects that no one wants to talk about, or very few people do talk about. That you got all these people, not all of them, but you got a lot of people out here who make money off Phil. And Phil, not only can Phil not really stop it, he can hinder it, but he can't really stop it. But they actually, arguably, make probably more money month to month than he does. He makes more in the long run. I won't say month to month, that's not true. They probably make more than he does in the short term, but he'll make more than them in the long term. To be honest. But they can pull in more in a shorter amount of time than Phil can. And he legitimately can't do anything about it. And now he's so heavily dependent on his detractors, trolls, haters, and critics to profit that I would assume, and not even I assume, as time goes on, he's gonna I've already said this before, he's already going to start leaning on his detractors, trolls, haters, and critics even more heavily, just to drum up the drama, just to bring in the views, and just to bring in the money, just like how he used to do on Twitch. It's the only guarantee. It's the only guaranteed way he can actually make money these days. He can't do it off games anymore because he doesn't have it in him. He's too lazy. Even though, arguably, I don't think games are getting any more complex. It requires more than what he's willing to put into it. And then he's trying to lean heavily on this podcast thing, which is a joke, obviously. And then what else does he really have to offer you outside of that? You know what I mean? Like, he's running out of options, but more importantly than that, he's running out of time. And not because he's older, it's because he didn't take care of himself. He didn't do what he needed to do when the money was right, and more importantly, when he was more able-bodied to do things. That's why he's falling apart the way he is. And one can't necessarily turn back the hands of time. And I would assume if he even tried to do anything to salvage his health now, he would probably make himself even more sick. If not, he would render himself useless because of exhaustion. Which is kind of funny, to be honest with you, when you think about it. So, he doesn't have too much left in the tank. When you're starting to fall asleep playing video games, there's no real conceivable way that you'd be able to handle a 12-hour workday working working anything, to be honest. I wouldn't even give him middle management at an office without expecting to walk in and find him sleeping. He just can't do much anymore. Same thing with Wings. Excuse me. Wings is mentally broken down, and he's physically expended, that he can't do real work anymore. Review Tech USA too, probably, to at least some extent. He probably can't do it. He's probably just too lazy to do any of it anyway, to be honest. He could probably still, I wouldn't expect Review Tech to do anything physical, but I don't know if I would, I mean, could you really trust him to, give you advice on electronics or anything either? Like, unless he's doing, like, customer service or some shit, I don't see Rich doing much of anything either. That's kind of ironic, actually. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, mental dexterity is a thing. And none of those three guys really have much of it. It's easy to get about, I mean, it is, truth be told, it's easy to get behind a mic and talk some shit. But to actually be able to do something, to actually have to follow a regiment, and to be able to think on the fly, and to actually exercise problem solving and stuff like that, I don't think any of those three guys can do that. Not anymore. If they ever really could at all. So, I don't know. It's just something to think about.
Talk about DMT. Oh man. Alpha Proto says interviews are about the guest. That is true. And the best interviewers let the person they're interviewing just talk. It's about them, not about the person interviewing. And I think that's one of the biggest things when it comes to any sort of conversation, is sometimes you just that's what you do. You just wait. You just wait. DJP, thanks so much. Appreciate that. Yeah. Just let people talk, man. So like all these things that you guys like I get the memes, I get the Italian food stuff, I get it. Like I totally, like I said, I've done my research on this, and there will be things that I, that I bring up, and there'll be things that I don't bring up that I don't think are, worth talking about.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, like, the whole I prefer a penne thing. Like, it's funny and everything, but there's no need for you to concentrate on that. It's one of the few things that's actually robust about anything that you could associate with DSP. There's way more things in DSP's catalog, I would say, that's far more intriguing than any meme, honestly. Like, there's far better stuff that you could actually poke at him about than just memes. Sounds like the easy way out. I'm surprised you would even entertain that. That doesn't even mean anything. Why'd you waste your time researching that shit?
You know, Travis seen my list of questions, you know. Base Kick says, Craig, when did you get canceled? I've never been canceled. You can only be canceled if you care to be canceled. I work for myself. Who cares? You can't cancel somebody who's self-employed. So, yeah. Anyways. All right, well, let's get out of here. Steven says, how long will the interview be? It'll be as long as it needs to be. As long as it needs to be. Like, it'll go as long as it needs to go. So. Base Kick says, I thought you said you got canceled. No. People have tried to, but like I said, there's no reason to be canceled. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I guess people are canceled for stupid things, for stupider reasons, but I don't know. Like I said, whatever.
What is up, everyone?
That was strange. That's not the response I would expect from someone who didn't do anything. At least towards the end. I mean, obviously he's already stated that he never did anything to be canceled or whatever. So I don't know. That was a strange response. On top of that, it's only if you care to be canceled. That's true to an extent, to be honest with you. But sometimes people don't need to cancel you directly. They can affect the people around you, which is usually the best way to take someone out of pocket, to be honest. But that's neither here nor there. We're not here to talk about the divide and conquer. So that's that. Very interesting situation, to say the very least. Good luck to him on whatever his scenario is with that. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we move to the second and last part of our situation, which is, let's see here. Give me just a second. Because I'm a professional. Oh no. Okay, we are here with DSP Gaming. I'm appearing on the Side Scroller podcast this Thursday at 9 a.m. This is from March 15th of 2023. The link will be down in the description. God damn, Phil, you're just a mess. Just a mess. And the snorts and the snort sacks are fucking fantastic. Holy shit. Oh, Phil. Holy shit. You could at least act like or look like you were more enthusiastic than you are. You look terrible right now. Holy shit. Wow. Look at that. Looks like an absolute mess. Holy shit. Alright, here we go.
Here, and in case you've been living under a rock for the last several days, I wanted to make a small formal video announcing that I am going to be appearing on the Side Scrollers podcast here on YouTube this coming Thursday. Because I'm appearing on this podcast, this absolutely is going to affect my own daily schedule. Normally, I would be streaming around 10:45 a.m. Pacific time to start my own little pre-stream. Usually I have my own level 1 podcast at 11:15-ish a.m. Pacific time, and it usually runs till like 12:30. Then after that, we usually switch over and we do gameplay for an extended stream until like 4 p.m. Well, as you can see, the Side Scrollers podcast starts at 11 a.m. Central Time, which equates to 9 a.m. my local time here in the Pacific time zone. What that means is that I'm going to be over there at least an hour and a half to 2 hours, if not longer. Since that's the case, okay, I'm definitely going to be late to my own content. In fact, I was talking with Craig about it, and he advised me if you could leave your schedule open, because we have no idea how long your interview is going to be. It it would be great. So that's what I'm doing, all right? So I want to let everyone know, first of all, I'm going to be late to my own stuff. When will I be here? I don't know. It depends on how long this show goes. And once it's done, what we're going to do is come over here. I'm going to post up on Twitter at They Call Me DSP, as well as in the community tab here on the channel, to let everyone know, hey, guess what, guys? I'm done on the podcast. Let's come over and let's start my content for the day. Now, what I'm planning to do is what I'd like to call a decompression stream. After having been on their show for a bit, I want to talk here about what exactly we did on the show, how it went, hear your opinions on it, because I'm going to be talking to them, not to anyone else, just to them. And I'd love to hear what people thought of my appearance on the show. And if we have time after that decompression, if people want to do gameplay or whatever, I'm down for that. Maybe you want to do some Hogwarts Legacy or something. If not, we could just chill for that main stream and then do gameplay that night and then get back to the regular schedule on Friday. Now, you might say, now, wait a minute. What is Side-Scrollers? Why is Phil appearing on it? What is this appearance? Okay? So, to give you some backstory.
Okay, let's cut the shit. So, he's clearly thinking that he's going to go onto the podcast, talk it up with them, come back over to his own stream, talk, basically drama it up, I guess, and collect money to essentially do nothing but to have an impromptu Q&A, I guess. So basically like an extended bottom bitch podcast with a bit of Q&A at the end of it, and then that's it. So an easy shift, if you will, for the beginning of the day, and then come back and fail at whatever video game he's going to play after the fact on the late stream. Decompression stream. Decompress from what? Talking to people? How stressful? He had to have known he was going to walk into some bullshit. Like, you don't sit there and say, we're going to have a depression stream if you are not expecting some type of, like, problem or resistance or some type of issue. What the fuck? I'm not saying anything about anything, but that's weird. Now that I think about that, that's kind of strange. Can't wait to see how that plays out. That means... So now, so what the fuck? So now if you think about it, so I have to do the Side-Scrollers interview. And now DSP is going to have a decompression stream on top of that shit. Well, I guess we'll see how long this shit goes, and then I guess we'll work it out. But fucking A, bruh. A decompression stream. Fuck out of here.
A website called screwattack.com in the mid-2000s. This is actually how I was introduced to the Angry Video Game Nerd, because he used to put his videos up on their website. But their website was a gamer's website before YouTube was a thing. They were doing daily gameplay videos of countdowns, news stories, and a podcast called Side-Scrollers. At the time, it was actually audio only, but it was quite popular. Now, over the years, Screw Attack shut down. They got bought out by Rooster.
And see, I can't remember where I said this at, but maybe it's on this. Maybe it's in one of my early broadcasts, or maybe it's on the second channel. But I had said somewhere that this was a few years back, that DSP should have asked if he could have contributed to the sides to Screw Attack, whether a countdown list or a spotlight of the best games of that week or that month or whatever the fuck, something to help get his name out there. And he never did it because 1, he's too lazy, 2, he's too stupid, and 3, I guess he thought if enough people in his own audience maybe badgered them about that situation, maybe they would give him the option. But obviously that never happened. But actually, even before that, we actually heard it in the Craig segment where he doesn't even really remember what event that he saw DSP at, or he met DSP at, I should say. But he does know it was like 13 years ago or some shit. But he doesn't even remember the actual event. So DSP is already coming in at a disadvantage theoretically, because the one selling point that he has, that, oh, we met up at this Screw Attack event on this year and we did this, and this, Craig doesn't remember any of that at all. Craig's not calling him a liar, because clearly there's video out there that shows at least some of it, but Craig don't remember it. And why should he? You guys aren't friends. You didn't follow up with him. Do you call him or text him through the holidays? Have you ever wished him happy holidays on Twitter or on Discord or whatever the case may be? No, I doubt that you've done any of that. So why would he remember you? Something to think about.
Got liquidated. There's been other businesses that have started and stopped. Finally, last month, after like a decade, they decided, well, I should say Stuttering Craig decided he wanted to reboot this podcast from scratch. And it's been running for about a month now. I can tell you right now, I've really enjoyed the show. I've been watching every single episode. I've enjoyed it a lot. I think it's a great variety show where each of the members of the show bring a little bit of a different perspective on life. They've been talking about all kinds of stuff, gaming, news, collectibles, just fun stuff. It's a really great show. If you like variety, I recommend that you give the show a look over on their YouTube channel, which is called Side Scrollers, okay? So how did it come about that I'm going to be on the show? Well, basically, Craig contacted me. It was a little before their show had been rebooted back in February. He emailed me out of the blue. I hadn't heard from him in 10 years. You know, I had some interactions with Craig back in the day. Maybe we'll talk about those on the show. But having talked to Craig in a decade, he emails me and says, hey, we're rebooting the show. We'd like to have you on as a guest. And I said, sure, sounds good. Now, in the meantime, I've been watching the show, and it's a variety show. The guests basically come on, just introduce themselves briefly, and then they jump right into the normal daily schedule of things like gaming news, topical stuff. Like, for example, the past couple days, they've been talking about personal collectibles that they all have, and they show them off on the stream. It's been a great discussion. So, I was under the impression...
I mean, it's a good thing. Hopefully that doesn't happen with you, because you don't have any collectibles. Remember? Bankruptcy? We don't own any. I thought I'd bring it up. That's not necessarily a conversation that you can speak on.
This is going to be a normal show where I'm just a guest on it. It was good for variety because people have been saying to me, you know, why did you want to do that? Well, listen to all the stuff I've been doing this year. Take a look. My setup is different, right? I have an alternate new YouTube channel called DSP Reacts. I'm branching out to React content. I'm trying to do new things this year to diversify myself. And I figured, hey...
It comes out of desperation, though. So, it's not like he's changing to better himself. He's changing because his circumstances have gotten worse. So, let's remix that. It's not because he's trying to do better or be better. It's because he's fucked up so bad. And things have gotten so far out of hand that he's desperate to do something else and hope it sticks. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Show like this, where most of the viewers of this show have absolutely no idea who I am, or they've only heard negative things about me on the internet. Maybe having me as a guest would actually have me branch out and be known a little better. Maybe I get a couple new viewers or whatever checking out my content as a result of being on the show. That'd be sweet. So that was the whole premise. But I don't think that Stuttering Craig knew what he was biting off of. And he bit off more than he could chew having me on the show. Because I warned him ahead of time. I said, Craig, I'd love to be on the show, but I strongly recommend you don't really talk about it. I was not going to tell my viewers until maybe the day before.
So you want to do some sneaky ass rat shit where, oh, don't announce me coming on there, and then I'll just show up that day, and then it'll be literally my snorts against these brain dead, mentally ill fuck idiots out here in the chat, and you'll see how crazy and ravenous they are, so you'll have no choice but to take my word. Are you fucking serious? This isn't the snorts of war, Phil. No one's going to do that. If they're having a show, a podcast, an interview, whatever, they're going to want to promote it because they want the most people to watch as possible. So nobody's going to kneecap themselves to fucking help your dumbass. And then doing it that way sounds weird. It sounds fucking weird. It makes people think you have something to hide. What the So what were you going to do with the voice critical situation? How are you going to pay it? How is you going to play that shit out? What the I gotta tell you, the Gouty Viper has lost, I was gonna say a step, but a snake doesn't step, it slithers. I don't know, he's lost some scales or some shit. How the fuck did you think that was gonna work? shit. The fuck out of here. And then, how are you going to dictate to another person on what they should do with their show? They asked you to come on, you accepted. So, that's pretty much the end of that. They'll promote it, they'll do whatever the fuck they need to do to get, to promote for their show, and then you pop on. But if you listen to what DSP's saying, he didn't want any outside exposure. He wanted everything to be completely isolated to just being him and the side scrollers and their audience. That's it. That's all he wanted. He didn't want any type of outside interference. He wanted just enough time to where he could pig whistle to them and essentially try to whatever you want to call it, misdirect or try to siphon off as much as their viewer base as possible. And thought he was going to succeed at it too, which is funny. As much as it's as entertaining as it is to see DSP fail, it's even more entertaining to see DSP try to succeed. And maybe that's just a sick thing that I have, but I've always been amused by him thinking something's going to pan out and just sitting back and waiting to see if it actually does or not. And if it does fail, I don't necessarily care because the build up to it was probably better than the end result anyway. Oh, so good.
He decided to announce it on the show on March 1st, and it backfired. And what I mean by that is all of my detractors flooded this guy on social media, in the comments of his show. You got to ask Phil all these questions about all the toxic things that everyone says about him on the internet. You don't understand. You're the only person to have Phil on an interview in years. The quartering was the last one, and that was 3+ years ago. You got to ask him this question, this question, this question. And basically, it blindsided Craig. He had no idea that anything like this was going to happen. He didn't know I had this many haters. He just wanted to have me as a normal guest on the show. But because of this, it's now evolved from I'm a guest on Side Scrollers to I'm going to get interviewed on Side Scrollers about all this stupid shit. Okay?
Well, you're not a normal person, Phil. I mean, for a bunch of different reasons. But you yourself tell people I'm not the average person. That's why I don't sell out. That's the reason why I don't do this. I do my content, or I stream completely different from everybody else. So fuck you and everything that comes with. You don't get to sit there and be like, oh, I can't get treated normally like other normal people do, and then go and spout off that I'm not like everybody else. You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. You want to run around here like some fucking unique, special fucking snowflake? Bet. Then you get everything that comes with. You get everything. You get what that entails, I should say. So what the fuck is wrong with you? I thought you would. Shouldn't you be happy about this? You're not going to get treated like the average Joe Smo that comes on that bitch. You get special treatment. This is what you wanted. If you look at how DSP interacts with people on his streams, how he talks about other content creators and himself, or compares himself to other content creators on YouTube and Twitch respectfully, and how he tries to interact with people on Twitter, he comes across like a fucking alien. And he expects to be treated in a very unique, in a very particular sort of way. Now he's getting it, he wants to bitch about it? You're not normal, Phil. You never were. So, this is what you've always wanted. You've always wanted special treatment. You've always wanted to be set apart from the rest of us. Now you got it. And now you want to cry about it? Okay.
And it sucks, because I should be able to do things like everyone else on this planet. I should be able to just go on this show and be a normal person and have fun as a guest. I'm not allowed to do that because of my haters, because of the detractors that follow me around in their own toxic clouds and try to ruin everything for me. I'm just trying to stay in my lane and make content for my own viewers. And I say, oh, this will be an opportunity maybe to branch out a little bit. Oh, but they don't want that. They want me to look bad in the eyes of everyone. So
that's not necessarily true either. I mean, some might, but truth be told, you'll make yourself look bad. It doesn't require much, to be honest. It doesn't take much. So to sit there and try to throw that on your detractors or whatever, they're not telling. Let's be honest. The detractors, trolls, haters, and critics are not saying cancel the interview. It's bullshit. He's going to lie to you. This, that, and the third. Now, clearly, DSP is full of bullshit. DSP is more than likely going to lie to them, but they're not saying to cancel the interview. They're not saying that at all. So you're still getting your platform. You just can't spew your bullshit. And that's what that is. And here's the real thing situation. Here's the real thing you know that he's going to go up there and victimize himself and say, man, I love video games, been a lifelong gamer, I had some time in the FGC, but they treated me poorly, and I came to YouTube and you know, now that I'm not doing fighting game stuff anymore, I can just do regular content, you know, I can play games, and I can share my experiences and my passion with people, and it snorted new life into me. I was able to fall in love with games again, Craig. It meant so much to me that I was able to share those experiences with people, and I was able to make a living doing it, because I gotta tell you, man, I haven't had it so easy. I really haven't. You know, I worked at this helicopter company for like 5 or 6 years, man. 5 or 6 years, man. And I even moved for this company, and I did everything right. I did everything correct, and I even got this A certification, right? Achievement of what does the A certification mean again? Achievement certification excellence or some shit. Whatever. I had this A certification thing, man, and they said that I was doing really, really well, and then a few months later they just laid me off, man. And I was at home, I was sweating, and I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do, and I just turned on my camera, and I was like, well, maybe I'll give YouTube a shot, because I didn't have any other options or choices anyway, and it all fell into place. We're not gonna talk about how Hutch we had to beg Hutch for a job at Machinima. Right? We're not going to talk about that. He's probably not going to talk about the situation at Blip, you know what I'm saying, and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? What's his name? Isaac Heimler. Yeah, we're not gonna speak on that shit. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna complete and utterly fabricate the situation, and that's what detractors, trolls, haters, and critics are trying to prevent. That's really what it comes down to. And yeah, he should be upset that his fucking sweet, sweet, sweet piggy lies are not going to be able to fly, and now he's stuck. Now he has to actually confront the shit that he's done. I'm sure that is uncomfortable. I'm sure it is. But maybe, just don't lie to people. Just be honest. And I understand that's hard for him and everything, because, you know, he already has this racket where he's already siphoning all this fucking money from these dents and shit already, right? Who believe that shit, or at least they half believe it. I don't think everybody believes that shit. So I understand that he's going to have his problems with that shit, but fucking A, dude. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Show up on Thursday. This has to now be kind of a 2-hour plus interrogation, rather than me just chilling with them, which is what I wanted. All right? It sucks, but it's life. This is what happens. All right? A lot of people said, well, if it's changed...
Here's my thing, Phil, because it sounds like you're lonely and you want friends. If that's the case, why don't you, I don't know, actually, like, try to build a rapport with these people behind the scenes and shit? Why not do that? Why does everything have to be public? And obviously, I'm answering my own question. The reason why everything has to be public is because it has to be for profit. But, you know, if you're lonely, why don't you actually try to build friends with people instead of lying and trying to manipulate them on dumb shit? How about that? You know? Like, why not actually try to look at and treat people like people, and not just disposable ATMs and objects that are there for your own personal amusement and to hoof hold you and then discard it at, like, the moment's notice of dissent? Not even really dissent, just if they ask him a question that he's uncomfortable with, they could just get popped off. I mean, why not that? I don't know. I mean, coming out of the Craig segment of this thing, I was kind of, I was like, I'm like 50-50. I'm probably still at like 60-40 in his favor. But the way DSP is acting, business is a booming. Business is a booming. So we'll see. Craig's chances might go up.
Are you still going to be on the show? Well, first of all, these guys have been no lie bombarded. with crap from my detractors for 2 weeks. That wasn't fair. They weren't expecting that. They didn't even know that anything like that was going to happen. Okay? So now, after 2 weeks of being bombarded, is it fair to cancel? No, it's not. In addition, if anything, I feel these guys are going to be very objective. Here's why. They knew absolutely nothing about all this negative crap about me on the internet at all. They've now been bombarded with it for 2 weeks, and they have honest questions. They just want to hear my side of it. They want to hear my answers to all the crap that's said about me all over the internet every single day. And this is the opportunity for me to actually answer those kind of things to an objective audience, not an audience that's going to come in with preconceived notions, misconceptions.
Now, this is kind of important because this is him admitting that when he talks to people in his own bubble on his own streams, he's not actually talking to his own audience. He's talking to the detractors, trolls, haters, and critics, or he's trying to appeal to them. I want you to take note of this. I think it's right here when he does this hand thing. I'm starting to get to the point, by the way, that I start judging parts of videos now that I'm looking for, usually by what hand gesture he uses. I know it sounds kind of silly, because it is fucking silly. Sue me. But it does work at times, believe it or not. I might have overshot it, because that's what I do.
Okay, so now, after 2 weeks of being bombarded, is it fair to cancel? No, it's not. In addition, if anything, I feel these guys are going to be very objective. Here's why. They knew absolutely nothing about all this negative crap about me on the internet at all. They've now been bombarded with it for 2 weeks, and they have honest questions. They just want to hear my side of it. They want to hear my answers to all the crap that's said about me all over the internet every single day. And this is the opportunity for me to actually answer those kind of things to an objective audience, not an audience that's going to come in with preconceived notions, misconceptions, and an agenda. Instead, they're just there to get the answers because they're interested to hear what my side of the story is. So I feel like this is a great opportunity to actually get a fair interview out of people rather than someone coming in with an agenda to a gotcha interview. You see what I'm saying?
All right, two things. So one, he's admitting that he is literally speaking to the detractors, trolls, haters, and critics every time he's speaking in his own bubble on his own platform, right? And two, he's kind of admitting that he doesn't trust his own audience because they're already contaminated, if you will. And I know contaminated is probably a very harsh term given the situation, but fuck it, that's what I'm going to do. He's kind of also saying that his own audience is contaminated by the detractors, trolls, haters, and critics. So he literally needs fresh samples. He needs people, despite the fact these people still give him time and money, his own audience is what I'm saying here. Despite the fact that they still support him with their own time and money, he still wants a fresh batch of victims who haven't been contaminated with his bullshit or the detractors, troll, haters, and critics bullshit. I should just go ahead and break that down in the actual letters. I don't have to say it each and every time, but I'm used to doing it, so it is what it is. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting how he views his audience as a whole, right? Because he's readily admitting here that, hey, I have a lot of hate watchers, and those are primarily the people that are watching me, and the people who actually do support me and are my quote-unquote actual fans, they don't mean anything in the wider scale because most of them watch Detractor content too, so they only half believe me anyway. Or they have their own agendas for supporting me, and it's not just that they're legitimate fans. That right there is something that should be considered, if you think about it. That is actually a fascinating look into how he looks at his own audience. And Phil, being an idiot, he wouldn't have thought about it that way, so he just put it out there as a throwaway statement. That's very interesting. That is very, very interesting how he looks at them. Oh well, maybe it's only interesting to me. Let's continue.
And in addition, most or all of the things that have been thrown my way, the criticisms and the hate and the nonsense, the conspiracy theories, the nasty, toxic things said about me on a daily basis, I've addressed them all. If you're a fan of my channel here, you've probably seen me address these things so many different times before, but this is going to give me an opportunity to put it all in one place. I've never actually sat down and just said, boom, 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 here's all these questions, let me answer them all, right? Never. It's always been, oh, something came up today new that they made up, okay, let me address it. And then the next thing, the next week, let me address it. So now it's all together. And if anything, this should be...
Now this is actually kind of interesting too. I'll play this back. This right here is him, which we already knew this, but this is him admitting that he only used the Pro Jared situation, which was the 7 years of debunking. That's a fantastic fucking screenshot. That's a fantastic screenshot. That might have to be the thumbnail. Anyway, it's really interesting. It's really interesting how he just admitted that he used the Pro Jared drama to try to get over. Like, that's literally what he was... I mean, which we already know that. So this was like two birds of one stone. And yet again, it also shows how lazy he is too. Because if he wanted to address the different claims that are against him, he could have easily had someone else, obviously. He could have had someone else compile all those questions together and then done a video on it. See, because when he did the Pro Jared situation, that list wasn't his list. And anybody who knows this, you know this. But that actually belonged to a guy named Dragon Killer on Twitter. That was his list that he came up with, and DSP just blatantly just took that shit. And didn't even answer all the shit on it. He answered what he was comfortable with. But if DSP wanted to do an actual video going through question by question, he could have, and he chose not to. So it just goes to show that this idiot himself is never motivated to do anything on his own. He needs someone else to push him, or to platform him, or to motivate him to do something. He can't do it on his own. He can't do it on his own merit. He literally needs somebody else. Jesus Christ. What a useless piece of cancer.
I've never actually sat down and just said, boom, 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 here's all these questions, let me answer them all, right? Never. It's always been, oh, something came up today, new that they made up, okay, let me address it. And then the next thing, the next week, let me address it. So now it's all together. And if anything, this should be a cumulative answer. Anyone want, oh, what about all that drama about Phil? He already answered all that. Go check it out. You don't have to believe him, but he did answer all of it. If you want to go watch it, go watch that episode of Side Scroller. There you go. All right? I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping that this ends up being a good show. I'm hoping that for all parties involved, it's entertaining, it's fun, but also people learn a lot, and hopefully they give me a fair shake. I think they will. And it'll be good to get it out of the way, because once it's done, I actually said this on my podcast this morning, I'll say it again in this video. Once this is done, it's done. And what I mean by that is, if I'm addressing all these things, and these are my answers, I don't have to talk about them again. It's over. That's my side of it. If you believe me or not, that's it. It's not going to change. The story's not going to mystically change, okay? So once the podcast with them asking me all these questions is done, that's it, and that's my side, and that's all. If you can believe me or not, watch my content or not, that's your choice. But at least it's there. And then I can move on and say...
I'll give Craig 65% at this point. Because Phil is gambling high on this shit. And remember, if this shit goes left... If this shit goes south, deep south, this shit is going to be some fuckery that he can't do anything about. It's going to be on the Side Scroller channel, and that's it. There will be nothing he can do about it. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh, it's unfortunate I got to take this hiatus, but god damn, son. Oh, fucking A. Yeah, 65%. I'll give... Craig gets 65% for me. This is rough. This is bad. Holy shit, Phil! Boy, I hope you're planning on going up there and telling the truth. I hope. I really fucking... He kind of has... Let me save that. Also, I haven't forgotten about the... Steel Toe podcast thing. I haven't forgot about that, so we're coming up on that too. Oh shit. I don't know, Mike. Alright, let's continue. Holy shit.
No more lingering unanswered bullshit questions about conspiracies. They're all answered. Check it out. Okay? It'll almost feel like a weight off my back, I think, to get this out of the way, and then we can just move forward with everything constructively, for the future. Okay? So, if you're interested, 11 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Pacific, this Thursday, March 16th, on the Side Scrollers channel. Podcast with me on it, asking me all the tough questions, I guess. After that show is done, I'll be starting up content here on my own channel. I don't know when that'll be. I can't promise you because I don't know exactly how long the show will be. But hopefully, fingers crossed, it goes well, and we can have a good streaming day. All right, guys? Thank you so much. I'll see you all Thursday, maybe on the show. If not, I'll see you in my own content here. Thanks for watching. Fingers crossed. Hope for the best. See you then.
Okay. You know what? That's where we'll keep it. We're going to keep it right there. Okay, so. Holy shit! This is going to be rough. Okay. So, he said some pretty interesting stuff in this small bit of time. I gotta give him credit. Fuck that, I'm not giving him credit for shit. But he did say some interesting stuff that makes me... It gives me something to ponder over my hiatus. He's expecting trouble for sure. Hence the reason why there's hence the reason why he is calling it a decompression stream. He's going in, and he's already going in high strung. So he's already going in scared, essentially, of what's going to be him, what he's going to be questioned on, and how he's going to answer, and then how the detractors, trolls, haters, and critics are going to respond to that. So that's something very, very fascinating in itself. The next thing is, and I'm not sure if you picked it up, but he's hoping that this interview goes well, because if it does, he thinks it's going to give him leverage on Moist Critical or anybody else who has a name. Hey, if shit goes right for him, of course. Hey, I had a decent showing over here, or I had a good showing over here. You know, you should consider watching that first off, and then maybe think about giving me a shot. Now, does that mean Moist Critical or anybody else would do it? Probably not. But it's an interesting play, to say the very least. It's a very interesting play. That's a very interesting play to get his way and try to make his way. I don't know. If you know your war, every time DSP thinks that the future looks bright, shit usually crashes and burns. So, I don't know how that's going to pan. But, whatever. I'm not going to wish him good luck, because fuck all that. But, I don't know. In some cultures, they say you should wish well on your enemies, and so on and so forth. So, it's not that deep. but we'll see. Okay, I will say this though about Steel Toe, and then we'll close up shop. Okay, so when Steel Toe first came out, as you may or may not remember, they were using Detractor content. There's a bunch of detractors flocking over there, all that, and then whatever. I don't think people really recognize what Steel Toe tried to do, but it was a very clever situation. Didn't pan out because time wasn't necessarily on their side. But I will essentially give you what my interpretation was, all of that. Interpretation. What I think Steel Toe wanted to do was, they didn't actually want to be part of the Detractor community, which makes sense. And they weren't looking to draw people in from the regular audience that participates with Detractor content. They weren't trying to cultivate them either. What Steel Toe was trying to do was cultivate an audience who would laugh at DSP's nonsense within their own community. They didn't want... How do I word this? I know how to word this. Steel Toe was not looking for power users or power watchers of Detractor content. That's not what they were looking for. They wanted people who literally were... He wanted something just a step above normies, if you will. He wanted people that come in, laugh at the antics, that don't know a lot about the lore or any of the lore, and then are already there for whatever it was that they were already talking about. Whatever politics, whatever. That's what Steel Toe wanted. That's what they were trying to cultivate. You know what I'm saying? He had his couple of detractors that he was comfortable with as it pertains to their content. That's what he would use. He would cultivate a viewer base within his own fan base and whatnot, and within his own viewer base. It's a nice little segment, right? That will draw in detractor views and everything later, but he wouldn't. But he wasn't trying to actually attract those type of power watchers or power users. He just wanted to. He wanted to cultivate a prime viewer base within his own base, and I think that's what he was kind of going for, which is it's clever. Craig is doing the opposite of that. He wants more exclusion, if you will, from the detractor community, and the hopes that they will stick around. He's not trying to convert the people that are already there watching his content into detractor or into DSP viewers. He wants to pull more DSP detractors in and get them to come in for the DSP content but stay for his. And I don't know if that's going to pan. I'm not sure if it's going to pan. I'm not even sure if Side Scroller's situation would have worked. If he had enough time, maybe. If he had enough time, it might have worked, to be honest, because there's a lot of content out there, current as well as old stuff, to where he would be able to do it, but he would need someone to quote unquote find him the select cuts, and he has to kind of keep a lot of the detractor influence out, if you will, to make that happen. But I don't know if that would have worked. Anyway, that's what I think that Steel Toe was trying to accomplish. Like I said, if enough time, it might have worked, maybe. But I might do a video on that. I've been meaning to do a video on that for a minute. And I can show you some examples and try to give you guys an idea of what I'm thinking. But that's neither here nor there. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, give me a second to go ahead and clean up a little bit, close up shop, and then we'll reconvene for final thoughts, and I will let you guys go. It'll be a while until I get a chance to see you guys, give or take any unforeseen circumstances. So, you know, that's the thing. Life comes at you fast. Alright, I'll see you guys in just a second. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. So, final thoughts. As it pertains to the interview, I'll give Craig like 65%, I guess. We'll see how he does and whatnot. We'll see how he does. That's pretty much all I can say about that. I gotta be honest, I'm kind of interested in what happens after the interview, though. I think that's what's catching my interest more than anything. Now, here, let's play some hypothetical pignosis, right? I usually do this early in the broadcast, but why not? Let's do some hypothetical pignosis. My favorite game, our favorite game. Let's say things go well. Let's start there. Let's try to be positive, like other detractors and shit. Let's try to be positive about it. Let's say things go well. Now the question is, go well for who? Let's say things go well for DSP. Let's say that. Let's try to give DSP the benefit of the doubt here. I don't think it actually changes anything, if I had to be perfectly honest with you. I honestly think that it doesn't change anything if things go well for DSP. There's so much shit to hit him on that a couple of losses, quote unquote, can be had, and it doesn't change really much of anything. It'll build his confidence back up, but I think any new viewers who spend any amount of time on his streams will see him for what he really is. It'll only be a matter of time. So sooner than later, he'll end up fucking things up for himself because, as I've said, DSP is his greatest detractor. So, and you give DSP enough rope and he'll hang himself. 2 sayings that I have, actually. So, there's my circumstances on that. So, even if it goes well, he'll figure out a way to make it worse. So, that's my thoughts on that one. Now, let's say things go bad. Detractors, trolls, haters, and critics are going to eat off that shit for a good amount of time. Craig and side scrollers will be bigged up for a pretty long time as it pertains to if the interview goes incredibly well. And as long as Craig and side scrollers can keep their heads about themselves, it could potentially be a really good year for them. Key word is if, to be honest with you, because just the lead up to this interview, you know, there's been a lot of coin that's been thrown around, a lot of gifted subs and shit like that can be enticing. But yet again, it's all still just the abyss. And if you look into it, you know what I'm saying, if you look directly into it, it will look back. So I would have to say Craig needs to keep his head about himself. Like he said, he's not about the troll content. We're not about any fake bullshit to bring in, you know, viewers or bring in money or whatever. If he can stick to that, this might pan out, and it might be a good situation. Because there are people who might be willing to support the Side Scrollers podcast even if they don't really watch it, just because, hey, you know what I'm saying, you really knocked it out of the park with this interview. So there's a lot of advantages if he plays his cards right. But, you know, time will tell on that. That's my thoughts, to be honest with you. That is my thoughts. Yet again, it's a bit late because I was assuming they would do something and they didn't, and learn from my many mistakes. Don't ever assume anything about anything. But, like I said, when I get back, we'll see how things pan out, and you know, we'll go from there. We'll see how, you know, video production and everything pans out from there. Yeah, I think it's fair. I'll give Craig and side scrollers 65%. We'll do that. Because there's some issues on both sides of that coin, but whatever. We'll see how it pans. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming by. I very much appreciate it, and I'll see you guys for the next one, whenever that may be. Hopefully sooner than later. This is DSP News. This is the Snort Report. I am a very, very tired pup, and I'll catch you guys whenever the next time is that I catch you. Later, people.